No spoilers.
And welcome to Equestrian Politics Free Zone. Is not to be saying things of discussing of things that are doing the things that are political.
Yeah. There's enough of that in the world as it is right now.
Spasiba.
Yeah. And this is actually your little time to get away from that all. Welcome, folks. Welcome
Howdy.
Yeah, welcome to another Saturday night. My name is BaronEngel, and this is Caradwin. He is the guy who makes all this technology work.
I push buttons.
Mm-hmm.
All righty.
Copyright 2016. Do we need to adjust, I think, to copyright 2017?
Yeah, that's when I put the thing together. So
And also, too, we're hoping this summer to put together a new intro anyways.
Yeah. Well, Life of the Creator plus 50 years, so if you need it in 51, you better get on it.
Yeah.
Yo, bring it, man. Anyway. So anyway, first thing, high watermark on spoilers is the show.
It'll be parental guidance.
You can talk about Rainbow Dash's mom and dad.
All you want. Especially once DWK posts some on it.
Okay.
Yeah, here it is.
I think the world of him. All right. So
you need a longer goatee, some people are saying.
Yeah. Ming the Merciless. Well, welcome to the denizens of this. Generic, you're a strange man. Don't change it. Now, it is a little warm here today, and so that means that we need to get on that that liquid coolant real quickly.
Oh, and Frank wants to point out that your shirt is actually reasonable for once.
Yeah, well, I'm giving you a break.
Yeah.
Although apparently there's somebody that one stripe really bothers. Oh my God.
And to answer Orca's question, yes, my Dash's parents have shown up in my Equestria Dreamscape. That was very interesting. They're very different parents than what the show had, but I had dreamed about them a couple of years ago, so it's my headcanon. My headcanon doesn't have to be show canon, and I don't get all bent out of shape when the show doesn't decide to buy about what my subconscious is played.
Yeah, your headcanon is of a different caliber.
Yes, it is.
Indeed. All right. So today's cocktail du jour is the Chucktown Sunrise. Chucktown, Charleston, as in South Carolina. It's a bourbon drink. It's a class of drinks called Bucks, which basically have a single spirit and then just one dominant secondary thing, like a Moscow Mule is a good example of a buck. So what we're going to start off with, this is a drink that calls for the shaker. I'm going to go ahead and change over to, let's see, where are you? There you are. There we go. There.
We go to bar cam in just a moment. Please stand by.
Indeed. Whoop. Okay. Let's move that over here. And that goes over here. And then I click on this thing.
And we find out whether the camera's actually even aimed where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you'd almost think we know what we're doing.
Ooh, reflections. Yeah. Enhance. Sector 4.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to start off with here is going to get some ice out of the ice chest thingy here. And we're going to chuck that in.
Do I chuck into your buck?
Yeah, you got it. A buck for a chuck.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we got that. And let's see. We will need...
Hey, Larsis!
Howdy! Alright, so we got our bourbon. And let's see if we can be a little bit less sloppy with it here. And this is because Baron...
I like my drinks a little bit on the potent side.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, there's that.
Hey, Octavia. Made just in time for drinks.
Indeed. Got some fresh squoze lime juice here. I'm not going to squeeze it on camera because every time I do that, Baron gets covered. Well, I laugh, but, he doesn't laugh so much.
At least it's better.
Not quite that much.
You didn't spill bourbon on my...
Give it time.
Get home and my wife's going... So how much did you have to drink, dear? Not that much. Really?
None of it made it to the inside, apparently. Yeah, so also here, I'm going to preload that. There we go. All right, shuka, shuka, shuka. Cover your ears. This is a little loud.
But it's a great sound.
It is.
Break the seal there.
Yep. And then, whoop, there's your bourbon and lime. And then the extra ice goes into the lump. And then we have...
Ouch.
There we go. Ginger beer.
Virgil's in this case?
Reeds.
Reeds, okay, that's good.
Yeah. I'm going to top that all the way to the top. And then...
There.
There we go. And just a little bit of grenadine to make it all pretty.
Adds a little sweetness to it, too.
Exactly. There's a lot of variants on this. Uses different sweetening things. Some use something called simple syrup, which is just, super saturated.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. And or say a little orange peel twist. Take the pith out, because that's bitter. You don't want that. And just sort of crank it up here and go like that. Which
Get some oils out.
And then just throw that in, and a little bit more for a garnish. And then
a straw.
A straw, and then you pass it to your customer, who will then immediately tell you whether it sucks.
And I will officially say it does not suck.
There we go.
You get a tip.
Yeah, there we go. Buy low, sell high. Get Apple at 3.
Yeah, and I believe last stream you made mention of this for folks who maybe have not gone to bars or think about maybe going to it. Maybe you're going to be turning 21 soon.
Yep.
Little bit of advice is your tip to your bartender should be at least 50% the price of your drink, because that's how they get paid.
Yeah. Again, most bartenders don't even get minimum wage. It's just 100% tips.
Bloody, I got this T-shirt. You can get the same shirt now from Redbubble. I bought through a different company for a while when they had a 48-hour sale that Equestria Daily was announcing. At the time, they were selling the T-shirts for $11. So, but you can get it through Redbubble now. The same shirts are available. I have an Applejack shirt, and I have a Derpy shirt.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Let's see. One thing I want to get out of the way right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out of the way is let's get this.
Mm-hmm.
Talk just very briefly. We have a deal here between us and those people.
University Art.
University Art. It's an art supplies store in Sacramento and Redwood City and San Jose. Baron worked there for 20 years. High-end art supplies. This is no Michaels.
Yep.
And excellent framing. We'll be talking a little bit later on about a piece of art that Baron's working on for me right now, and it's going to go straight to them for...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they are Baron's sponsors. They keep him well supplied with art stuffs, and we keep them well supplied with thank yous.
Mm-hmm. And for anybody who happens to be in the South San Francisco Bay Area or in the Sacramento, well, actually, you want to be South San Francisco for San Jose, next Saturday, I will be at University Art actually demoing color pencil technique. I will be in the actually Sanford booth, the people who make Prismacolor color pencils. They actually want to have me in there, and I'm going to be doing demo work for them. Hey, double deadlines in San Jose.
Yeah,
Be there. Yeah.
Be there.
Yeah, be there. Drop by, say hi. I'll shake your hand. It's going to be a great thing. They're going to have hands-on stuff you can do, drawings. I don't know if they're going to be doing it this year, but in years past, Mike McGuire, who's the store manager. By the way, Mike, if you're lurking, hi, Mike. His cycling mountain bike group that he belongs to, the Canyon Carvers, they do barbecue competitions, and they've done barbecue the last few years we were there. Okay, so double deadline, it is June 3rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Basically, they're at 456 Meridian Avenue. If you Google University Art, you can get directions to them, and they'll have more information on the website.
Yeah, so not too far away from basically 280 and 880.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
In the Midtown area.
Yeah, and right next to a very cool motorcycle shop.
Yes.
They sell Victory and Indian.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, let's start off then taking a look at some stuff that say that you've been up to? Actually, the one thing first.
June 3rd, Ari. June 3rd.
June 3rd. This is our new unofficial roommate.
Yes.
That is living underneath our deck in our backyard.
You have a name for it?
I'm thinking Jess because that's the name of the possum character in Rick Griffin's House Pets. Everybody said Pogo. Well, we don't know if it's a boy opossum or a girl opossum yet, but in any event, it's a yearling. It's about not even a yearling. It's only about 10 weeks old, about the size of a domestic pet rat.
Mm-hmm.
So. So I found him when I went out to use the hot tub, and oh wait, there you are. So let's start off with some stuff. You folks may have seen this last week. I think you did this as a
study, basically.
Study, yeah.
Yeah, basically, I'm learning.
Alucard, it was a suggestion.
It was a suggestion. I did it as a sketch. I'm actually going to finish it up as a fully shaded piece, but I'm learning digital art, and I'm trying different ideas with how I can do artwork with that. And so I decided, well, I'm going to try actually doing the flat, almost animated cell look that some of the promotional material for Hellsing was done in. So I basically grabbed some images of Alucard and just basically grabbed the color palette, and then grabbed some color palette stills from the show of Fluttershy. And I did that.
Excellent.
Didn't use enough ink. I mean, the guy who does the inking work for Hellsing is like Frank Miller. It's like more ink. Blub, blub, blub,
all
blub,
of
blub,
it.
blub.
And I just set the overlay to this instead of okay, fine. Wait, okay, fine. Wait, okay, fine.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, there's your work of art for you right there. Okay.
Look at your busy work over here.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of critters of the night, here's one right here. That is apparently 2 flavors of Apple Bloom's Night Court outfit, as it were.
Yeah. I've made the postings of Apple Bloom having her court dress she has to wear when she has to appear when Celestia asks for her to be there. Well, Luna has Night Court, and one of the things they've been kind of dealing with a little bit is a whole lot of the great houses of Canterlot trying to basically vie for her and AJ's hand in marriage.
Yeah, again, a new pawn has been placed upon the
table.
So not so cool.
Yeah, so this is the way to kind of discourage them.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We got. This is something from a couple weeks ago that I think you guys might like.
Yeah, Andy Carrot, what they are is plate leg armor she's got. And this is a color study for a client. Well, once again, I'm learning digital art, so I'm just playing around. Whenever I do a color thumbnail or a color rough, or I want to test out whether lighting's going to work a certain way, I'm going in, I'm using my Clip Studio Paint Pro to go in and do that. And I'm getting better and better and better at it. And it's a slow learning process. And that's actually a candy-coated patina.
Mm. Yeah, it's bad for your teeth, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is also, if I remember right, a client study.
Yes, it is. This is for something you probably remember. Remember Tebow?
Yep.
This is a commission for Tebow. And it's his character Chandra, and he wants to have Chandra appearing in the picture with a 5-foot-tall patina mouse version. So we've got, jumbo-sized patina.
Yes, and we had to make some selections on the
garments for the picture. And he's made his choices, and he decided he wanted to go with the mermaid dress with Patina because he thought, well, she likes doing the whole mermaid swimming thing and whatnot. So she got the mermaid dress, and Chandra got the Jessica Rabbit limited edition.
She's bad and is drawn that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. How about we take a quick visit to your dreamscape. Let's actually start with this. This is very cool.
Yeah, this is one of the most recent ones for Apple Bloom in the Dream Realm, and this is after a pretty important dream arc has ended, and the armor is basically kind of a trophy, same way with that scythe that she basically the result of conquering an opponent. Double Deadline, Patina, I'll explain in a little more detail after we're done with the art. It's a long story.
So this one's the first in that series? expectations?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So it's not all scythes and spine bones and stuff.
No, no. Of course, Apple Bloom just recently finished her first mission, where she went and helped little Stone Mane dealing with his nightmares about dragons, and she came back and she thought for certain, I've gone through all this, I've helped this, this colt with his problems. This is the kind of thing that gets you a cutie mark, and it didn't happen. So she was really, really disappointed.
Really bummed. Yeah.
So the next night in the Dream Realm, Luna basically came back. She'd actually gone and had a little session with Stone Mane, and things had gone very well. And she wanted to thank Apple Bloom, and she arrives in Apple Bloom's dream fabric. And it was very much a case of, she expected Apple Bloom to be all happy about what she had done, and she was very like, oh, hi. Yeah. Great. So she decided to take Apple Bloom to meet somebody. And that person would be King Trafalgar, Maximilian Augustus Leopold III, the king of Upper and Lower Tortistan.
Tortoises all the way to the bottom.
Yep, and his one loyal subject, Galapagos.
There we go. Yeah, and it was a lunch date.
It was a lunch date, and it was a very informative one. She learned that when you first see Trafalgar, he looks kind of like one of these goofy,
very Baron Munchausen.
Yes, but just like Baron Munchausen, he's actually got some fairly deep character to him. And she discovered that he is one of the individuals who taught Luna when she started going out into the Dream Realm.
Yeah, he apparently in this in our time scale, he is 3 billion years old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of a
time works differently where he's from.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of a Tom Bombadil type character. He is kind of in control of his own destiny. Wherever he is in his little realm, he's basically calls the shots, and he's going to end up being actually a very important person for Apple Bloom.
And it seems to have done the trick.
Yes. And we had a very
Nice.
And tomorrow, hopefully, there'll be some new stuff going up for you folks that are my patrons. Patrons, you can see things a week early.
All right. So who wants to see some Fluttershy?
Gee, me.
Yeah. Okay.
This was from very recently. This was a case of Patina come running up to me one night and shoving the cell phone in my face. Look what I found in your subconscious, rummaging around.
Flutter Kitty.
Yeah, and it was basically Discord turns Fluttershy into a kitty.
Let's see, where is that other one? Speaking of Fluttercord,
you just had it right there, down there. No, no, there you go.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, welcome to Saddle Arabia.
Yes. Another one of these things that Patina found kind of as a slideshow one night and kind of click. Hey, isn't this a great idea? Click. You might want to do a picture of this. Click.
More Fluttershy.
Yes, more Fluttershy.
Hello, Senpai.
Yeah.
She's all wet.
Yes, Fluttershy in your classic I Forgot My Umbrella.
Yeah, is it worth a cold to get Senpai to walk you home closely under his umbrella? Yeah, apparently.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. A couple of other folks here. How about?
Now, this is one I did actually once again as a request a stream or so ago, and I decided, well, you get a better look at it and everything, and that's Button's mom.
Rumor has it she's got it going on. In any event, she's at the top of the leaderboards.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, one of our buddies, there's a game called Altered Beast, which they recently did a re-release and completely updated. He is at the top of every single one of their leaderboards. He is Best Beast. All right, so how about some Mare? Wait.
Oh, yes. You haven't seen a whole lot of her in last few seasons.
We're seeing a whole lot of her right now.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Exactly. She doesn't usually talk business outside of City Hall, but she might be willing to listen to your... Hey, Webster, glad you could join us.
Okay, so how about a couple of very different Apple Blooms? So here's Apple Bloom number 1.
Yes, this is a case of, her basically entertaining Sweetie Belle, who's trying her hand at fashion, and she's really not certain about socks.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of fashion, this is a little bit different
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell, she done grown up.
Yeah, this is a study piece I did for Sonny, and I'll actually be working on his Patreon piece tonight. And it was a question he wanted me to do my take on H-Roll's Apple Bloomers. And I said, well, okay, do you want me to do it, at the age they kind of show he shows the characters, which is kind of like maybe this, junior high, or do you want me to do it a little bit older, like I've recently drawn the main CMC? And he looked at the outfit and said, I can live with the older version. So we're going to do the older version.
Now, here's another little, this is digital?
Yes.
Another bit of digital stuff. That is Marina.
Marina from
Everfree
Northwest.
Yeah, that's
lovable mascot.
Yeah, great characters.
And I did that.
Great plushies too.
Yes, and I did that the weekend of Everfree because I couldn't go up there this year. I was there last year, but couldn't make it this time around. So I said, well, I can still enjoy the fun and do the character. And it's a really good design. It's a really good OC overall.
Yeah, very striking.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of very striking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is for this guy sitting over here. He's been hoarding his Patreon rewards for about the last 2 years almost now.
This is 21 months.
21 months. So he's been socking his stuff away. And this is, because of the nature of the piece and the complexity and everything, I did a much more refined color study. And this is a study. This
is just his thumbnail. This is just the... is this layout kind of right? Do you like the colors?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I like the colors. Yes, I like the layout.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did have some input, and that was one of the beauties about doing this in digital, was that... he says, well, I like this as a haircut. Take the layer, move it over. That better? Perfect. You want me to enlarge this? Make bigger. You can tweak things. Get them scaled exactly the way you like them. And basically now I'm working on the final color piece.
Yeah, which is going to be freakishly huge.
Yeah, the image size is 19 inches by 27 inches.
Yeah, by the time it's framed, it's going to be about a little over 3 feet by a little over 2 feet. Yeah, It's going to be pretty good size. Yeah.
Yep.
So I am full of hype, among other things.
Well, sorry about that, Ongi.
There we go.
All right.
All right, so that's art that already exists. What about art that's going to exist? What are you going to do tonight?
Well, tonight I'm going to be doing Patreon rewards for people.
All righty.
I mean, I've got some stuff I need to get taken care of, so I'm going to get started on that. Before I go any further, though, Double Deadline asked the question, who is Patina?
It's more like, what force of nature is Patina?
Patina is one of my muses. She originally popped up in 1992. She was originally a character I created for a comic I was working on, and she was supposed to be as a one-shot character. It was going to walk on camera, deliver a few lines, collect her paycheck, and leave. That was it. And that lasted all of about maybe 20 seconds. Good night, Ongi. Sorry everything's just going horrible on your end. I'm glad you could tune in for as long as you could. And, like I said, that lasted about 20 seconds when she more or less grabbed the camera and said, I'm not going anywhere. I have things to say. And she's been stuck in my head ever since. And she is the only character I have who knows that she is a creation of my subconscious. She knows she's a fictitious character. She knows she lives in my head. And she abuses that to no end.
Horribly, yeah. Kind of like the holographic doctor in Voyager.
Yes. So she runs amok in my head. Of course, she knows that she's a fictitious character, so she's figured out how to get into most of my dreamscapes if she wants to be there. And she's kind of recently learned how to get a hold of the modeling program. So at first she was just an 8.5-inch tall mouse. That's all she ever was. Then when she got into the Equestria dreamscape, she figured out how to make herself a little white unicorn.
And has been completely abusing that.
Yeah, she has.
As much as Celestia will allow her.
Exactly. Now,
Celestia recognizes trouble when she sees it.
And I think Celestia represents another part of my subconscious. And so it's very interesting to watch them kind of do battles. Well, basically, there isn't a comic for the Equestria Dreamscape.
Oh, much more than that.
Yeah, if you go to my DeviantArt, there's a link down there on the little standard.
Also on the...
Yeah. And you see there, if you go to my gallery and you go to MLP Dreamscape and you go to the very first posting and you start reading it, then you will basically see how that dream arc literally in Dreamscape starts from the very first one. That was the first time I ever documented the very first dream I ever had in a Dreamscape. And that has been progressing, and if you read that all the way through, you'll get one continuous story from late 2011 up to today.
Yeah, not so much a web comic, much more of an illustrated novel.
Yeah. It's basically my dream journal.
Alrighty. Okay, so who managed to get their own mobile? The universe is not ready for that. It'd be entertaining while it lasted.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So who's work you gonna do first?
Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump on and work on Sunny's. Now I'm not going to be able to get Sunny's done all in one fell swoop because he's rolling 2 months together for his, but I can at least get it started and laid out and I can finish it. And I thought people might find it amusing because basically he wants me to do all 3 of the apple bloomers.
Lars, you want that Belgian. You definitely do. They're both about the same alcohol level because Belgian ales like that are almost as strong as wine, but this is very definitely a good beer day. Oh,
by the way, before I go any further, so I don't forget about Bloody Rainbow, I made a question about commissions. My recommendation is contact me either through DeviantArt or contact me through Twitter, and we can go from there, and I can get an idea what you're looking for, and I can tell you what I got opening. I'm kind of getting full at the moment, so I'm going to be kind of closing that down some, but, contact me, and we'll see what goes from there. All right.
Belt them out.
I don't want to overbook. As is, I still need to send some.
Yeah. Somebody's reminding you about your eyeballs.
Yes, this is true, and I will do that in just a second here. I just want to make sure I was on the right.
Everybody has the privileged bit for Nag Baron about using the right glasses set.
Yep. And for folks who may be new, but every hour we take a 5-minute break to get up and stretch, and that's what we'll be doing. All right.
All right, so let's see. What news of interest? For fans of the show, Canada is going to start doing reruns of this season. So the U.S. is going to slowly catch up as far as the show is concerned. Like I said, the high water mark is. Again, the white balance is indeed off a little bit.
Yeah, we're a bit on the blue side.
Yeah, that's right, because we adjusted that for your later stage drawing, so we can go ahead and go over here and say Keek, and there we go, drawing camera. Yeah. To my great disappointment, OBS Studio, Open Broadcast Software Studio, which is the new version, does not work with multiple Logitech cameras. It blue screens the moment I launch. It's a Logitech problem, but they're not fixing it. Okay, let's see here. Let's make colors be colorful. How about, why does it say right sound? We don't care about sound. We do not want autofocus. White balance is definitely, okay. Let's see. More gain, more exposure. Maybe not that much exposure there. Less brightness because we want contrast. Yeah, it's gonna make Baron look like he has a skin disease or something for a little while there. We're just doing this to try and bring out the
lines.
Yeah, he does very light construction work. The pencils will get much darker fairly quickly, but in the meantime, we tend to play with the contrast and stuff like that to make it a little more visible what's going on.
Yep.
But that looks okay. Now you don't have a disease anymore. Baron's blue, doo-ba-dee-ba-doo. Use that blue Corvette. Again, Izumi, the recent Firefoxes have not been very stable. question about your website. Some of the items in the shop don't show prices. Wait your turn mug. Is that an error or are they out?
That would, if it's listed, it should be something you can order through Zazzle. And if you're not seeing the price, one question, Andy Carrot, what browser are you using? I will pass that along to my wife, and we will take a look at that, about addressing that.
Baron's mug is never out.
Oh, by the way, okay, let's see here, in Chrome. Waterfox in Chrome. All the other items show prices. I will take a look at that tonight when we get home, and we will see what is going on there. Thank you for the heads up on that. Oh, by the way, Cat's Paw has his own Zazzle store, and he has some pretty cool mugs, too. His coffee never sleeps.
Yeah, Orca, every browser out there has malware vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I have with Firefox is that it's still heavily single-threaded. That means that one browser tab crashes, it takes the whole thing down. On the other hand, it has the best set of plugins out there. Chrome, it works. It's generally the most secure, but it is really hard to keep Google from knowing everything you do. I mean, that's how they make their money. If the product is free, you are the product.
There is no free lunch. Sonny more or less wants me to recreate the pose I did for Apple Bloom in that study sketch. I'm just going to get her walked in really fast. And then in the Apple Bloomer universe, April has Sweetie Belle kind of floating around on this like little Buddha cloud most of the time. So that's what we're doing here.
And it's like a little flying mount you can get in World of Warcraft in the Panda Land. It's like this weird Chinese-looking manhole cover with a flying cloud. And you go flitting around on it.
I guess it's not crazy in a flying carpet.
Are there paid-for browsers though? Well, actually, some places do sell paid-for browsers, mostly in mobile land. They're essentially wrappers around either WebKit or or Chrome that offer extended functionality. And there are some places with three-letter acronyms in their names that have their own browsers that they use because they can't have malware getting in on their networks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep, Tansaffle. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, Opera is free. Opera is free. The Tor browser is free and slow and much more private, but slow. And sub websites don't allow that in. That's that anonymizing browser that routes your traffic randomly all over the place and reassembles it at the other end. Makes it very hard to see your original IP address. But it's mostly used for looking at dirty pictures from work and for ordering drugs from people in various assorted and sundry countries. So a lot of firewalls block it. But, so any other news of interest and import?
You don't have any glass or plastics, so you don't have to smudge your drawing hand down. Right now, I'm working with 2B, and I just have a very, very light touch to the paper, and I'm not putting down a very heavy graphite line, so I don't have to worry much about shading or smudging. If I start working heavier, what I'll do is I'll bring in a piece of tracing paper. I'll put my hand on that, and that acts as my my blarb. I'm not worried about that at the moment.
Yeah. Let's see, Bravo, which browser are you on? And is it currently patched, etc., etc., etc.?
Check the site. Still doesn't show BaronEngel's sketches. Okay.
Yeah.
We checked that, Prow. It's all up to date, and we're viewing it fine on our end. We've had other people look at the site.
So,
I'm not quite certain what the issue you're having on your end.
Yeah, it may be a problem with whatever CSS libraries, etc. You say that your e-commerce provider uses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes they don't keep up as well as they should.
Oh, and CSS is so awesome.
Yeah. So Orca says they gotta wonder about what Patina thought of Dash's mom. That's another force of nature there.
Yeah, of course, Dash has different parents in my dreamscape because I had a dream arc involving them well before the episode recently, but they get along, because at least in my dreamscape, Dash's mom was a cabaret dancer when she was young, before they got married. In fact, that's how she met her Dash's dad. So we kept the whole thing about the pole dancing routine for the Best Flyers competition a secret. Her mom was a little bit sad because she actually would have loved to have come down and actually supported her daughter. But we were uncertain how people were going to take it, so we kept it under wraps. As it was an exciting. And one of the things that's going to come up in the next, not tomorrow's posting, but Monday's posting on Patreon, is the fact that the fan mail for Dash is going to start arriving.
Oh boy!
It took it took a few weeks for things to get all sorted out and people to get figure out where to send things for Rainbow Dash, and now she starts getting all the mail, all the good, all the bad, and all the creepy.
The good, the bad, the creepy. Oh yeah, that was something that was kind of amusing about parental guidance. They just I get the Wonderbolts noticing just figuring out right away. It's like, okay, we've seen parents like this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Spitfire's like, yeah, I'm just going to throw you back to your parents. You go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wonder if Spitfire's parents were like that.
That would be interesting.
Bug, your goldfish on Dash's mouth. Well, your goldfish is a goldfish, which means he has half of a brain cell, so... Brace yourself, the senpai letters are coming.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she gets the senpai, she gets the I'd love to take you out on a date.
Yeah.
I'm horrified by your performance. You've corrupted Equestria.
Meaning they really like it secretly, and they're just... They jelly.
Yeah.
It's like, you jelly, they jelly.
At this moment, I actually need to jump over to DeviantArt for a moment. I need to go take a look at my own gallery.
Indeed. Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Book.
Book. All right, there we are, MLP. Oh, there we go, MLP, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There's Scoot. Excellent. Get over here. All right.
Indeed. Time for old man stories.
Old man stories?
Old man stories. Yeah, so, just for grins, I went romping around and, Google Earth, take a look at some of my old stomping grounds when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally located the pony ranch that I grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
Or failed to grow up on, as the case may be. And, it's been 40 years.
Uh-huh.
And according to, the Street View stuff from Google and Bing has something similar. The sign that my dad painted with the name of the place, Shady Oaks Pony Ranch, it's still up in front of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was weird, now almost 15 years ago. I went back when I was making a trip down to San Diego for Comic-Con, stopped in and actually took a look at my old neighborhood, and it had so changed. If it wasn't for the fact of the street names, I wouldn't even recognize this as my neighborhood.
Yeah. Is that good or bad?
In this case, I'll say it was a bit of both. It was a bit of both.
The nostalgia, of course, is one thing, but is it an improvement?
Right. Well, one of the things is that they had cut down all the trees in the neighborhood. One of the things was that our neighborhood actually was relatively old, and when they had put it in, they had kept a lot of the older trees that had been in the neighborhood. So we actually had some shade. Every single tree was cut down, and it was basically the sun-bleached SoCal asphalt and concrete wasteland. I don't remember it being this. And of course, before I even moved, there had been a big horse boarding ranch behind our place, and we'd had chain link back fence. So when you looked out the backyard, you looked through the fence and out into this 15-acre field. So it really did give you much more the feel of you're growing up kind of out in the country, because you saw all this open space, and it gave you some distance between you and Slauson Avenue. And that, of course, is all gone now. They put a housing complex in there.
Get out of the car, cut off your Slauson.
Yeah.
Old Johnny Carson jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Catspaw notes, Dash's mother's main color and all that is remarkably reminiscent of Lauren Faust's OC or Lauren Faust herself.
Right.
Well, if anybody is Rainbow Dash's mom, it's Lauren Faust. So, it's totally appropriate. Yeah, that's actually something we had a problem around here. Nothing impossible. There was actually some guy who was caught going out in the middle of the night and cutting down trees in the middle of a road. The center divider of a road. Just he won't say why. It's just he hates the damn thing. So I'm gonna chainsaw him. Not happy.
Yeah,
not happy with people like that.
Yeah, we use more trees, not less trees.
I also looked at the places in Nevada that I used to look, and it's aside from the roads are paved, it's it's still nothing but sagebrush and scorpions. Oh.
Yes.
Apparently, some guy drove his 18-wheeler into one of the houses where you can pay for the time of a lady to spend time with you in Nevada. Right through the wall.
Was this whoopsie, fell asleep at the
No, apparently he'd been thrown out of the place or something like that.
Oh boy, you're not gonna give your truck back.
It's dude, if you're the kind of guy that even a cat house is going to say no to you, holy heck, you need to change yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Lady of negotiable affection.
Yes. Okay, so
yes.
She has the
friendship is magic, and magic costs about $200 an hour.
Yep. And if they say no, they mean no.
Roll for initiative. So who here watches Critical Role? Critical Role is a online, live performance Dungeons and Dragons game hosted by Matthew Mercer.
The elf.
Yeah, exactly.
He hates it, apparently.
Yeah, well, he's I forget the name of the character in Overwatch since I don't play it, but he's the Clint Eastwood Western type character. He's the voice of that, and all of his players are also voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine, what those D&D sessions can get like. So he's. Yeah, so that's sort of I think it's the T-shirts that he's selling in his shop. One says "Roll for Initiative," and the other one says "How do you want to do this?"
Yes. Of course, I did
Yeah,
that.
McCree, that's the character's name.
And of course,
McCree and McCready as well, from Fallout 4. Growing up with McCready. In Fallout 3, McCready was the mayor of Lamplight, which was this underground area that, say that it's all little kids, and as soon as you hit puberty, they threw you out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he was a smart-mouthed little kid with an AK-47, and he was in charge, and he made sure that those horrible grown-ups knew about it. And he later went on to become a mercenary, whom you meet in Fallout 4.
Continuity, it's a thing that happens.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Microsoft Edge. Well, Microsoft Edge is not a bad browser these days. It's just, again, first of all, everything you do goes to Bing instead of to Google. And it doesn't have as many bells and whistles and features and compatibility, toys, etc., as a lot of the other browsers. But it is pretty fast, and it does work reasonably well as long as the website isn't doing anything fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. According to my little charts here, generic, the upload is going very smoothly. So probably somewhere out there's a routing problem.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. There was a number of people. I mean, Sonny, correct me if I'm wrong. You were going to go to a music festival today, and that got cut short because of bad weather. And I had other people comment on DeviantArt saying that they were going to try and make it, but they were probably going to have to log off in the evening because just really nasty weather. I get the impression like in the southeast and south. So that could possibly be choking something somewhere down the line.
Yeah. Well, that and let's say we're at the start of a period of internet activism that will last for about 30 days, given world politics.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, Mercy says don't do drugs.
Hey, they're funds.
All right, so what are you guys going to be doing now? Here we are in the U.S. It's Memorial Day weekend, so it's a long weekend. I'm actually thinking about getting the heck out of town tomorrow or the day after, and just putting some miles on the car up in the mountains. Yeah.
Of course, I get to help put together our furniture tomorrow and get things done art-wise, because I have to have your picture done by next Saturday. It has to be scanned and everything, so I can take it. By the way, when I'm down there, if I have the time, do you want me to take it over to the frame counter and start getting some ideas for it?
Well, I was thinking black outer and sort of a saturated violet inner.
That's what I was thinking.
Appropriate proportions. Probably about 3 inches all around, and maybe 3.5 or 4 on the bottom.
Yep, weight the thing.
Exactly. As far as framing material, given that this doesn't have a lot of if it was like a natural scene with wood, with woods and that kind of thing, I would be thinking about a wood frame. But for something like this, probably a high quality brushed aluminum black or gunmetal.
Okay. Let me put together some ideas for you, and maybe if you can drop by next Saturday, we can actually take it into the frame shop and take a break, and we can actually write. They've actually got now about 4 people working there at the counter who really know their stuff.
Yeah.
I'd also would probably recommend, if the budget would permit, put some kind of UV protection, plexiglass on. I'm going to, of course, spray it with a UV clear coat, but you can never have too much.
Yeah, I expect this framing job to be at least 200.
Oh yeah, it'll easily be 200.
Yeah, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Not much more than that.
Well, or nothing else. What you can also do is jot down the information, and then in October they should have the 1-day frame sale, and that's usually you get like 30% off the price of framing.
Yeah, I don't think I want to wait for October for that. I do not want to keep it unprotected.
Okay, good point. Good point.
Monday, moving daughter-in-law to San Diego.
Ooh.
Yeah, actually, one of my coworkers, her daughter was just accepted to UC Davis veterinary school. She just finished her, 4-year pre-veterinary. She's specializing in exotic animals.
Okay.
And so she's going to go into UC Davis, which, again, depending upon who you talk to, is the number 1 or number 2 veterinary school in the world.
Uh-huh.
Them versus Cornell, they're always going back and forth. So she is really excited, but she's going to be going off to Europe for the summer, just because it's going to be her last chance, because she's going to come out of that college with a lot of student loans.
Yeah.
I mean, in medical school and veterinary schools, there's not a whole lot of difference in price.
Yep.
And veterinarians don't get paid what doctors do.
Yep.
Let's see. Head checkups once in a while. Pretty good so far. Yeah. Edge, actually, the resources it's using is the operating system itself. I mean, it's the browser that's built in, and basically in Europe, all they do is turn off the user interface for to meet the letter of the agreement that they have with the European courts about leveraging and anti-monopoly and this and that. But so when you quote to download Edge, all you're really doing is turning on what's already there. You hear something pulsing like the Enterprise D's warp core in the background. That is the that is the force field generator.
Yeah.
Now, actually, so this house does not have a central air conditioner. What it has is a really, really big fan that is capable of replacing the air in the house in about every 5 minutes. So we're running that just to keep some air circulation going.
When summertime comes around and it really starts getting toasty, we will be running actually a window mat AC unit.
Yep.
And at that point, we'll have to change mics, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Then we'll go back to the lapel mics.
Right.
Because it was going to be just too damn hot in here to survive.
And the shotgun mics will pick up the...
Oh, they certainly will.
Yeah, it's an attic fan. It's quite impressive. You can actually go out in the hallway, Corwin. You can look up at this thing, and it looks like something that...
It's a 30-inch ducted fan.
Right. It looks like something you throw a ninja or a zombie into in a movie and they get hacked up.
Exactly. That's how, what does it say? So Jonathan... I want to say Jonathan Price. He ended up getting thrown into a wood chipper in a James Bond film. Only had a window AC when you're down in Chico, California. That's where I went to college. Yeah, it gets really hot up in Chico. 120 degrees. It happened.
Yep. Is it very humid too?
Not really.
Okay, there's
Not really.
small miracles. That was the one thing last year when I was back for BronyCon. The first day we were there, they were having one heck of a heat wave, and it was 90 some odd degrees and 90 some odd % humidity.
Yes.
I was like,
Hot fog.
And this is why it's green in the summertime in the South.
Yeah, you go outside and the air slaps you.
Yes.
Yes, speaking of James Bond, we lost one of the more well-known actors for the character this week. That would be Roger Moore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, I was never a fan of his take on James Bond. A little bit too clownish, but he was good in The Saint.
Yeah, well,
which is another spy film, but
or spy series.
Yeah.
And that's why when I first saw the first James Bond movie as a kid with him, I was familiar with him as the Saint. So I was going, did they make a Simon Templar Saint movie? Because my dad's not James Bond. Oh.
Now, say for me. I will always like Sean Connery. I also like not Dalton. Having a senior moment here.
Bruce Bronson?
No, Timothy Dalton. Timothy Dalton was Pierce Brosnan didn't do it for me. No.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was Remington Steele.
And the new fellow?
He's good. He's good. He's much more hardcore, which is how spies like that are supposed to be. I mean, you know, they're
Very much closer to how he apparently envisioned.
they're hard cases, not smart asses.
And we are coming up on 6:30, so we'll be taking our first break. Which will be a good thing, because my back actually is being very cranky tonight, even though I did my stretches before they...
Okay, so we're going to... Daniel Craig, yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Spy Who Loved Me. Somebody does it better.
I just get Sweetie here, kind of get her eyeballs where they're going to be in, and then we'll switch camera. There we go. And I'll finish this up, Sunny, and get this done. But I got Moss 2 characters pretty well blocked in an hour. All right.
There we go. Whoop, whoop. Bam.
Bam.
Bam. All right, folks, we are going to take a 5-minute break. Get up and stretch. You get up and stretch. If your bank is being cranky, I'm gonna chase him around with a Swedish massage thing and hit him on the head with it.
Okay.
All right, so see you folks in 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, we are back.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and yes, James Bond was counterintelligence.
Mm-hmm. He was a troubleshooter.
Yeah, you're trouble. You're not trouble anymore. All right. So, whose work are we doing?
We're going to do Rebel Squirrel next. And by the way, River Croon, what I quite often do with a lot of the stuff that I do as, just requests on these streams is I'll hang on to those. And I try to put something up almost every day on DeviantArt or on Twitter. And so if I have a day where I haven't done anything and I want to put something up, I'll hang on to those things as kind of,
a buffer.
Buffer, basically. Yeah. Kind of like the cartoonist who has a couple extra weeks of comic strips in case life happens. So I'm hanging on to that, and we're going to put that. We'll put up some point in the future, but it's I'm holding on to it. Yeah, Rebel, I'm going to do your character. I was actually going through as I figure out where did I put. All right. Yes, I'm getting old. I was going through actually emails, and I came across actually your April, and realized I never got around to doing that for you. So I figured now would be a good time to do it. So, I have the power. The power. Yes. Now, before we do this any further, because people will yell at me, I will change to my studio glasses, because they're better for reading anyways.
You will be assimilated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we haven't seen William Shatner yet.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. I'm going to guess he's going to be in the season closer, but. I mean, why would you waste? Why would you waste anything else?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to be doing basically Dr. Xavier Matthews from it's one of Shadow Vixen's Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Yes.
Hello, Boxford.
Yeah, and yeah, just text description. I'm going to basically start on this, and I'll probably be picking your brains as this is going on. So please don't wander off, Rebel, because I will have questions for you.
This will become the reference.
Yes, somewhat gaunt for his species. No kind of real blaze. Mane with black roots. He's going to have it. Yeah, does he have an eye patch? Is that correct?
You'll know in about 40 seconds.
That's right. Okay, so this one I'm going to be doing in more of a portrait format. Well, actually, he's going to be sitting down. He's being described as sitting.
How did you not notice the cubic mile of soil and rock being excavated for that secret headquarters?
Yes.
Well, they managed to pull stuff off like that fairly regularly around here.
Yeah. So just one question for you, Rebel. Left eye or right eye does the eye patch on?
Both. Oh.
Both.
Third eye. It's in the center of his forehead.
Okay, I think I have an idea. So I'm going to start with this at least. All right.
Double pirate, yar.
Double pirate. All right.
You are a pirate.
All right. this up here so I have to keep consulting this. Left eye patch, metallic right hand. Okay.
In other words, somebody who did not pay attention to a shopkeeper.
Exactly.
Would Shatner as Starswirl the Bearded be a bad choice? I would prefer to see Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
Because Stewart, I think, could one, could pull out the character, and second, Starswirl was the one who brought in the princesses to fight Discord. So Starswirl and Discord are nemesis.
Right.
Nemeses.
Yes.
Thank you, Bravo. And again, Patrick Stewart versus John Delancey, back in the saddle again. Oh, I would pay $29.99 a season for that. Wait, I have paid $29.99 a season. But you know what I mean. Ah, yes. Oh, make it so, Twilight Sparkle. Yeah, so I'd also like to see Michael Dorn there, because Michael Dorn's done a lot of voice work in animation. Of course, he did I Am Weasel, which I wish kind of didn't happen because it wasn't very good. But I'm glad that he didn't get a bad taste, from doing that. He's been in a bunch of. There's been a bunch of Star Trek actors have sort of wandered around in this little crowd going from series to series.
Jonathan Frakes.
John Frakes. Well, again, Gargoyles was the one that had most. I mean, there was John Frakes. There was Marina Sirtis, a.k.a. Counselor Low Cut Dresses. There was LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn. John Delancey showed up, I believe, in as if for one episode of Gargoyles. Yeah, it was quite a few. But yeah, Sir Pat as Starswirl would be awesome.
That would be one of my things on my fan bucket list for the series. Oh, of which we do have confirmation of 26 episodes for season 8. That was announced.
Season finale. You find out that the Bearded is just an old title and Starswirl is actually a mare. Yeah. That was part of the disguise.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Picard to the singer repairman. Make it so.
Yeah. Didn't mean to bump the camera.
Or to the John Deere, to say tractor repairman who's trying to get the planting equipment. Make it so. Yes, Xavier Matthews is a prototypical pulp mad scientist anarchist villain.
Mm-hmm. Is he always going to blow up the world type? Guys.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. That's him.
Switch those hands around just a little bit. He's not quite. So I'll need to move his arms some. Well, he's a nihilist. William Shatner as AJ's dad. Till the soil. Now plant the seeds. That actually wouldn't suck. I could almost see that. Or maybe as Uncle Orange. Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Pear.
Oh, the one they don't talk about?
Yeah. Creepy uncle. Well, you know what, Frank? If you can come up with some great spy stories for a run game, well, you can always run them online and, invite your friends to play online, you know. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, of which, Clear Skies, I know, is hanging out with some really great artists tonight. He's got Crybringer and Shona44 and Nate Dogg, of which Nate Dogg had his first Ricardo stream yesterday.
That's right. I guess I poked my nose in there briefly for that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, congrats to...
yes.
Yeah, I've actually been kicking the idea around of doing a Roan setting book, just like 64 pages, etc., 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 just for grins. One thing I did find out about Roan is that some of the skills and weapons in that game are so overpowered. Holy hell! I wasn't throwing enough dice. You thought I was throwing a lot of dice at the demo game? Turns out, there was 2 more that I was supposed to be throwing that I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, again.
Didn't touch with Clear Skies.
Yeah, well, I told him about that. It's just something in the Ubiquity system. It doesn't scale well. It's one of those games that stacks, where you have a skill and it looks pretty reasonable, and then you take this option and then it makes the skill a little bit more awesome. Okay, that's good. But then you also can take that option and that and that, and they all stack one on top of each other until you get this absolute monster of a character. Does one thing and he does it to the point of annihilation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting work on the next expansion book. That's actually one of the things that's eating a lot of my time at the moment. And one of the things I'm going through and working with Clear Skies on is getting the look down for the various different nations for their tech and everything. So when we start bringing other artists on board for the project, it'll be like, okay, this is the Canadians, here's a background, here's this. These are the way they handle doing technology, so all the artists have some kind of consistent look for the tech. That's kind of one of my my current projects I've been going through and collecting and writing up on the...
Yeah, that's the other thing Lars has said annoys me a bit about it, is that the Ubiquity system is put out by a company called Exile Games, and there's they have something unique called Ubiquity Dice, which I mean, the basic game system is count how many points or whatever it is of the skill you have, and then roll whatever type of dice that give you yes, no. Flip coins if you have to. Then you count the number of yeses, which is the number of successes. So if you have a skill of Streetwise 7, grab 7 coins and flip them and count heads. Or roll 7d6 and go even and odd.
Mm-hmm.
So they came up with these dice that they're 8-siders that mathematically are the same. It's like, okay, you roll a, I think it's a red die if you roll in 3, and a blue die if you roll in 2, and a white die if you roll in 1, and then you use the appropriate numbers there, and it just shows up, how many successes you have. They patented it, which seems a little odd. Patented D8s are just the numbers on them. But now they're out of production and nobody has them. And they're not making any more, but nobody can make any more because they're under patent. So that makes me sad. They're not required for the game. Again, just grab a handful of regular 6-sided dice and throw the appropriate number and count evens, and you're good. But yeah, it just needs a little bit of tweaking to sort of flatten the power curve.
You're right, Rebel. Trying to keep things kind of consistent is one of the things that always drives me nuts with a lot of alternative universes.
Bloody Rainbow. BaronEngel, that's his first and last name, is the guy drawing. I'm Caradwin.
Hi, I do the art.
Yeah, Caradwin is the beard one. That's okay. No.
One question too I want to ask really quickly, Rebel. Does he have hooves on where his hands should be, or does Dr. Xavier have hands, and hooves on where his feet would be? Can you please clarify that before I get much further into this? And by the way, just so you know, Bloody, BaronEngel is my birth name. That's not my artist name. That's the name my parents gave me. It's the name on my birth certificate. And hands are feet. Okay, all right. Just wanted to confirm that. Just wasn't quite certain reading in the description here.
Baron, do you do commissions?
Yes, actually, I thought I'd mentioned that earlier. Yes, I do. Best thing to do is contact me through DeviantArt. Send me a note, and then we can, through email, hook it up. Or you can contact me through SpongeMark's Angleworks.
Yep. Yeah. So, and the links are either below the page or, so there you go. All the way down. Keep going. Where it's on the lower part of the screen says BaronEngel.deviantArt.com, etc., etc., etc.
Or another way you could contact me is via Patreon. Since you can only send me messages that way, and I'd like to take a moment right now to kind of do a little plug about that. Patreon is the thing that... Oh, actually, that's one thing.
Speaking of plugs.
Plugs, yep. Do a plug for University Art.
Okay, let's get we have to do our duty here.
Yes.
Once an hour.
Wait.
And wait. There we go.
While I do that, I'm going to get some more brain move again.
Indeed. We are sponsored by University Art, a high-end art store, art supplies, and framing that Baron actually worked for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Located in Palo Alto, Redwood City, and San Jose and Sacramento. They do, again, very high-end museum-quality artwork. They've done original Rembrandts, original Picassos. They've handled original Nobel Prizes. When I get my my good art framed, I don't trust anybody except them. So they're good folks, and they are sponsoring Baron and making sure he has all the art supplies he needs to do his trade. Mm-hmm. So thank you to them.
And actually, there is a very important thing that we were talking about earlier before the stream started of things we wanted to cover, and I just realized there's something I need to celebrate. I think I have a drink here. You do realize that it was effectively this weekend, 2 years ago, that I did my first official stream as of having left University Art and going full-time as an artist. So actually, this is like the second anniversary show. I just realized that.
Oh, cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Yeah, so this is like my second anniversary, and one of the things that has made it possible for me to do this is the support I get through Patreon.
Yep, and Patreon folks get to see all the good stuff a week early.
That's right. Like, there'll be new stuff going up tomorrow. But yeah, I just realized that this weekend is because it was Memorial Day weekend when I.
Indeed.
Yeah, and that was actually the thing that was kind of cool because I know when I
it's also 40th anniversary of Star Wars.
Yes, it is. And I have to admit that, when I left, I was kind of concerned that there might have been a little bit of bad... In case he's lurking there in the stream tonight. Hi, Mike. I was kind of concerned maybe there was potentially a little bit of, hard feelings between us, because I left at kind of a rocky point for the company. But I'm very happy to see that the company has done very well since I have left, and they have brought in some excellent people. And they've got some really first-rate folks working the frame counter now, and the frame shop is definitely cranking along just fine. And you might hear emergency services go by soon.
Yep, yeah, woo! Yeah, 2 years is enough. Your parole is over.
Yeah. Hey, Pink Pony.
So we are saying congrats because this is. Today is the 2-year anniversary of Baron going full-time as a professional artist and his online art streams.
Yeah. So, in many cases, I have my patrons to thank for that because that provides me a regular, steady, monthly, I can project expenses around income, and boy, does that make things a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not too far away from. We're about a block away from a main route that goes between the hospital and one of the more lively neighborhoods in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So once in a while they get a visit from the gendarmes. I imagine that it being Memorial Day, somebody probably set themselves on fire with their barbecue.
Yep, since this is the official start of first-degree burn/barbecuing season.
Yeah, was it matched only by Thanksgiving?
Yeah, deep fried turkey.
Yeah. Thanksgiving is deep fried people, and 4th of July is I thought I had 10 fingers. Yes. So Fall Feather says, tell us a story. Why don't you tell us how the story got into art? I think it was more that art got into him.
Yeah, okay. So you want to know how I got into art. Okay, now you understand, I've been drawing for over 50 years. I started drawing when I was 18 months old. The story in my family on how it went was apparently at some point when I was a year and a half old, someone accidentally dropped a marker pen into my crib, kind of like these old Marks-a-Lot type markers. And I figured out how to get the cap off of the marker and then proceeded to draw all over the inside of my crib and myself. There hasn't been a point in my life that I can remember when I didn't draw. I draw at least every 15 minutes every day, minimum. Of course, now that I do it for a living, I actually draw usually about 2 or 3 hours minimum a day, sometimes as much as 10 to get things accomplished. I've just always drawn all my life. When I was in high school, I was very, very fortunate that I had an instructor who saw a lot of raw talent in me. I wasn't really super refined at that point, but they could tell, boy, because the kid's got an imagination, which I had. And they got me a scholarship to Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California, because I was living down in SoCal at the time. And I went there from for my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and then I moved up to the Bay Area, and I attended college up there and got my associate arts, and then started doing freelance work for people.
Baron's tragic origin story. Bitten by a radioactive El Marco.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he got addicted to the smelling to the solvents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Xylene, my favorite.
Yeah, back in the day when the stuff would really kill you.
Oh, it'll still kill you today. Now, that's one of the reasons why they don't make xylene-based markers anymore.
Nope. It does horrible things to your nervous system.
Oh, yeah. I remember using those things, and they made me loopy.
Yeah. Over the long term, though, they'll apparently mess up your the little protein links between the nerve bundles, and
yeah,
it was just
turns into a twitching mess.
Yes. I worked in a laboratory for a while as a lab technician, and it was very interesting when I started working at University Art, seeing all of my former instructors from college coming in, and they all had this kind of odd little twitch to them. And I remember they were the ones who used to chew on their paintbrushes on the bristle ends of things where the paint was. And they used to clean their hands with buckets and buckets of paint solvent. And I figured it probably wasn't a coincidence that they all looked like that. And I decided I didn't want to look like that when I was 60-something, so. I don't think it's overwrought. I think it's quite a nice name. It's my birth name. I'm very proud of it. And it's not as bad as some of the other ones my dad originally had. My dad's first choice was Wolfgang. My full name was supposed to be Wolfgang von Engel. And my dad and my mom kind of went, no, dear. So he went, well, how about Baron? And he tried going with Baron von Engel. And my mom said, no, on the middle name. Okay, we'll go with the first name. All right.
You should have made it von V-A-U-G-H-N. He could have gotten away with that.
Yeah.
Particularly if you didn't tell your mom until it was too late.
Yeah.
That was an opportunity missed.
Yep. And so his second choice for my middle name, because he hadn't given really any thought to that, was his favorite old-time radio hero, which was Warhawk. So it was going to be Baron BaronEngel. And my mom said, through the haze of drugs of having just given birth to me, try again. And he went, Eric? She said, I'll live with it.
The name on my original birth certificate is Launcelot. Launcelot. My sister named me. My sister's 20 years my senior. I'm the last. She was the first. Mm-hmm. And at the time, she was a medieval studies major. Mm-hmm. Changed her major later on, to business administration, and did some interesting stuff. But yeah, I was Launcelot. My current birth certificate says Lance, because I think they amended that like within the first 9 or 10 days. They said, what did you do? Stop that. So.
No, I mean, pretentious art names are names like,
Marilyn Manson.
There was one in the area, Eye of the Creator.
Oh, that type.
That, yes.
We're talking 13 galaxies, material here.
Yeah. The kind of person for which, remember the character Vision that I came up with for Dave's Pony RPG? That was the kind of character I was skewering.
So I gave up Lancelot. Well, that decision again was made for me. My sister came out from the front. She was a cesarean section baby. So, and back at the time that was happening, it was like once you had a C-section once, well, that was how all of your kids are going to get born. Just install a zipper. Mm-hmm. Again, my mom was thoroughly doped up for a few days afterwards, and my dad was on active duty with the Navy, and so my sister got to name me, because mom just said, I trust you. Oh yeah, she shouldn't. But she said Lancelot, and that's what they put on the original birth certificate. And then when my parents, my mom was undoped, and my dad came back and said, try again.
Yeah. It was one of those names. It was kind of cool. It wasn't really cool as a kid. Then of course my mom called me Barry quite a bit, which kind of confused me.
Barry.
So, but when I got into college and realized, I'm going to go into illustration. That's going to be my career. It had the advantage that it was very unlikely that you were going to be mistaken for any other artist. Mm. Now, there is actually a Baron who teaches at San Jose State. He teaches architecture design.
Oh, Rebel, they still gave me that one, believe me. That and Lancey Pants has Anson's Pants and does the boogie dance. Mm-hmm. So, but...
By the way, Rebel, how's this coming?
Ah, boy. There's a cat's paws mentioning Gadget, Widget, Gizmo, and Little Doohickey.
Yes.
There's a Little Doohickey. I say probably the third most dangerous pony in Equestria.
She's a little bit. She goes a bit Akira occasionally, but she really is a good soul. Just has a rather odd family, and she's gotten much better since they have changed her nerve tonic.
Yeah, Rebel says, aha, another fan of Dave White's fanfics. There, Deputy Dave. There's a blast from the past.
Mm-hmm. Yes, how are the arachnids?
Spiders is.
You have 6 now.
Creepy crawlies, creepy crawlies. And Rebel suggests a malevolent expression, one of those I have plans.
Oh, so you don't like have the frown. You want to have a grin on his face,
A proper villain sneer.
Okay, we can change that.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
We can adjust that. That's all really nice, Cretius. You'll have to just excuse me that if Bettina basically is checked out her flamethrower and made certain it's properly refueled.
And little tiny squeaky screams.
Yes, for one of the things about Bettina, she's arachnophobic.
Yeah. Well, we'll say there are some tarantulas that eat mice. Right?
Yes.
Now I am seeing Rarity and Opalicious as Blofeld. Yeah, of course, the question is, who is in whose lap?
Yeah.
Let's see. And Sasta got into a pony finder game at Everfree Northwest, played a paladin bat pony.
Oh, cool.
Nefarious Dark Moon.
Now, half the fun of now, his right hand, so it's got to be a metallic hand, so I got to fix that. Need to make sure that's a mechanical hand. Rebel, does he have like a hand with 4 fingers and a thumb, or is it one of these more like Dr. Claus type mechanical hands? And that is corrected. The eye patch is on the wrong side. That would be his right, so I need to fix that.
It migrates back and forth.
Yeah.
What?
That's okay. We can fix that. Now, there's a certain amount we're definitely creating, kind of making this character as we go along here, so that's fine. So I'm going to shift that over. So I can compare it with his eye. And definitely that benevolent.
Yep.
Looking at the viewer.
Now, we have black widows around here. One of them nibbled on me once. That was no fun. That was... the thing about black widows is that they've got that big, shiny, abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
It has the red hourglass that makes them, so famous and all that. Mm-hmm. Little teeny weeny thorax and head. Mm-hmm. Teeny weeny little tiny fangs. Not much venom at all. And but it's a neurotoxin, and does a number on people. It did a number on me. Mm-hmm. So I woke up in the middle of the night hollering because every major muscle group in my body was cramping at the same time. Mm-hmm. No fun. And it turned out that a spider had crawled in the bed, and I'd rolled over on it, and it bit before it died. Because we found it later. And black widows, not a lot of fun. Meanwhile, in Australia, spiders the size of your hand in your car, and they're all poisonous. Oh, there's nasty little buggers they are. Oh, look, he's cranky. Funnel web spiders. They want to bite you, they say, oh, danger, danger, danger. Yeah, and brown recluses are nastier because of the nature of the wounds.
Yes.
The venom of a brown recluse breaks down the interstitial glue, which is basically is proteins that keep the cells together. So you basically over the next few days after the bite, the area around the bite just sort of melts.
Yeah, it becomes gangrenous and kind of.
Yeah, exactly. So you have these huge wounds that they have to. They teach you the meaning of the word debride. It's always a fun word there. So you end up with these really big scars. It's just bad news. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
And they gotta watch out for infection then, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, spiders. Yeah. Yeah, brown recluse, also called fiddlebacks, because they have back markings that look kind of like a violin.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna have that, and as that's in the right hand, so that won't be the hand. Hey. Yeah. They'll show me better details on the mechanical hand.
Search for the Australian song "Red Back on the Toilet Seat." Well, the SCA has a song called "Black Widows in the Privy." Mm-hmm. Yeah, and other assassination methods.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, browns are no fun. Now there is a type of spider that Cretius might know about. Everyone calls them banana spider. They are nasty and they are big and they are aggressive and they can mess you up.
And
only silly people hold them in their hands. Is that right, Cretius? Only silly people would take a picture and say, "Look at this spider I found." Oh yeah, see this great big huge spider right here? Can people identify this spider? It's like, oh yes, that's a banana spider. Put that down, please.
Yeah. And they spin webs fairly high off the ground, if I remember correctly, so you can walk into them in the middle of the night if you're not careful.
This time. Yeah. Now, when I was in Nevada, when I was like 13, 14 years old, everything was poisonous and tried to kill you, which is great fun when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
We used to hunt rattlesnakes and scorpions and, find red ant nests and, do terrible things to them and turn over rocks and, see, who is faster, the centipede or you. Got stung by a scorpion once. Not a lot of fun, but at least in Nevada, none of the scorpions ever like kill you dead types.
Mm-hmm.
They're just big. But yeah, it was a wonderfully poisonous state to be in.
I used to hunt rattlesnakes. I actually made money doing that. There was a guy in our neighborhood. With hindsight, I realized that I probably should report him to the authorities. He was supposed to go and collect rattlesnakes for UCLA Medical Center for their anti-venom program. What he did instead was he hired me and one of my friends to go out and do it. And we used to go up to Turnbull Canyon, which at one point had some of the highest populations during mating seasons of rattlesnakes in any place in North America. And we would go out and we would collect rattlesnakes, and we got $5 for each snake we brought back.
Yeah, so similar here, except what we were doing is we were, catching the rattlesnakes and, again, big sticks and a garden hoe off with their heads. And we would take them to this one fellow who tanned the skins. And the thing about snake skin is it stretches like 3 to 1. It's very stretchy. So you see this thing about, here's proof of a 60-foot long snake. No, that's a 20-foot long anaconda, which is still big, which you skinned and stretched the skin as far as it would go. But he would make, belts and hat bands and crap like that.
Yeah, we used to, sometimes we had a long pole with a piece of red felt on it. And we would go along, we would find rock crevices, and we'd stick the pole underneath there until you'd hear this, and then you hear it, and you feel jerk on the stick, and you'd pull the snake out, and it'd get its fangs stuck in the felt. And then we wore these big, heavy gloves, and we had these double-layer burlap sacks, and we would wear blue jeans, and we wore snake-proof chaps, which are designed for going around in really rough terrain. And we'd pull them off, grab by the head, pull them off the felt, throw them in the bag, and then close it up. And we'd get, a dozen or so of them, and bring them back, and we'd get paid for it.
Yep, absolutely. Dispatch kids to catch poisonous snakes.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yeah, a simpler time.
Yeah. Orca says one time helped them father move old mattresses and disturbed a bumblebee nest. Well, bumblebees usually, they're big and they're scary, but they're usually not, they don't move very fast.
No.
Now, hornets.
Yeah, yellow jacket nest.
Oh, yellow jackets are nature's little assholes.
Yes.
But back when, back at the Pony Ranch, there was a hornet's nest on the corner of, we had a detached garage. This is all buildings built around like 1940, so it's old stuff. And with a classic onion-shaped, about the size of a football, hornet's nest. And the hornet's nest, they're kind of cool looking. They're say shiny black with like little white chevrons on them. I was about 8 years old, and one of them stung me. I run into the house, and my dad says, "Okay, I'm going to take care of those damn hornets once and for all." He went and he got the shotgun.
Oh, I know how this is going to end.
Loaded it with birdshot. Out we went to the, to about 15, 20 feet away. He aimed it and pressed it up against his own shoulder, not mine, and he said, "Okay, pull the trigger." And I reached up, and I'm still, ow, it hurts, ow, ow. And I reached up, pull the trigger, boom! And, and of course, the hornet's nest just, disappears, in this, shredded cloud of, bug bits and all that. And of course, all the surviving hornets come out, "Oh, we're so mad." Dad picks me up, tucks me under his arm with one hand, he's got the gun in the other, we're running away, and he says, "That'll show those damn hornets sting my kid." I had a cool dad. Of course, he was a fighter pilot. Of course, he was cool.
Yeah.
Highway to the danger zone.
Yes.
So, That, and of course in Nevada, it was red ants, not the fire ants, but they still hurt like hell, and they make these huge mounds, and well, that was like what gasoline and matches were for.
Yeah, I worked at the lab. One of our reps, Jim West, had relatives down in Texas, and we used to go out and he'd take samples, and sometimes he actually had to get pretty creative about taking samples. So he knew how to handle explosives. And his relatives, who were getting kind of old on this property, had a big old honking fire ant mound. He says, "Well, I'll take care of this." Yep. And so he went out and he planted some TNT in it, planted the charge, rolled back things. I need to get back a safe distance from this thing. I don't want to be getting close. But he wasn't far enough back. And when he blew this mound, it went flying everywhere. And he actually succeeded in getting a chunk of the mound down the back of his shirt.
Oh boy! Oh, that must have been visual and auditory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got about 60 some odd bites on his back.
Yeah.
Couldn't sit at his desk when he came back for several days. Had to sit like this. Yep. Type.
Nothing impossible. You are right. Child labor laws have destroyed the best fun. What did my dad fly? He flew very briefly Wildcats. Later on in World War II, Hellcats. Mm-hmm. After World War II, Corsair 2s, P2s, and P3s. Mm-hmm. So sort of moved up from fighter aircraft to submarine hunters.
So you flew Neptunes and Orions, huh?
Yep. Yep. Out of Moffett. Mm. And he finished his career as an instructor.
And actually, right now, one thing that's kind of cool, I might actually even tomorrow morning go up early because it's going to be nice and cool, is in town for this weekend we have the Collins Foundation.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And
one of these days we got to get you a ride in the belly tour of a B-25.
Yeah, or B-24. It would be his thing, and I want to go up there and I want to videotape them flying in and flying out for reference once again for the Roan RPG. Just to get a better feel for the world and
Hey, go buy your ticket and write it off. It's a business expense. You might even be able to get the ride and write it off. Yeah, because it's research. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the Asian yak killer wasp? I've seen those and the Japanese giant hornet.
Yes.
Holy crap, those things are huge.
Well, it makes sense why when you see stuff like that, why over in Japan and everything like that, they have kaiju and giant. Yeah. Bees aren't hornets. Hornets are just jerks.
Well, say hornets are jerks. Yellow jackets are assholes. Of course, the thing about yellow jackets is they're predators.
Yep.
They so they're going to be aggressive because that's their job.
Yeah, we actually have some yellow jackets that haven't set up a nest in our backyard or anywhere around our apartment so far, so they're allowed to do it. But they're hunting in our vegetable plants, looking for caterpillars and stuff like that. And if they do, they're going to sting them and haul them off and then do horrible, Giger-esque, alien-type things to them. But since they're kind of getting the bugs out of our tomato plants, we don't have to use any pesticides. As long as they don't sting me while I'm out there watering.
Yeah, P3, there's still a few still flying.
Yep.
Yes. And the Bismarck was sunk by the Royal Navy on this date.
Yep.
Fairy swordfish, string bags.
Yep.
Those old, obsolete aircraft, that nonetheless managed to damage the Bismarck's rudder, so that it could only steam around in giant circles. Then the York, I think it was, and one other. I'm sure.
I think it was the Rodney.
I'm pretty sure that a couple folks here know it by heart. Proceeded to catch up to the Bismarck and blow the crap out of it.
I think it was the Rodney was one of them. Yeah. Payback for the hood.
Yep. Let's see. Speaking of Sake of the Bismarck, Extra Credits History is doing a series on it right now. I was thinking, that was Hunt for the Bismarck was quite an event, and of course the Graf Spee had an interesting end too. Mm-hmm. In Argentina. Mm-hmm. Cretius, that might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
let the folks in charge at least know, then let them decide.
Yes.
Hyphen Gunner sings, got to sing the Bismarck. 28 years ago, it was the turret explosion on the USS Iowa.
Yep.
Yep, how a 16-inch shell can ruin your day.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting day of anniversaries.
Yes.
I recently went back and rewatched Star Wars, the first movie, back when Star Wars was good, and it's aged remarkably well. Star Trek, not quite, or at least the next gen, it hasn't quite aged as well, mostly because it made a lot of. Well, first of all, it's much more utopian, which the definition of that changes very rapidly, and it'll become either laughable or annoying, fairly quick.
Or horrifying.
Yeah, and the other thing is it tried to predict technology, and it kind of sort of did, but again, your iPhone does so much more than any of their handheld data pads could ever do.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it wasn't the shell. It was just some of the powder bag inside. That was bad enough inside the turret. They just boom. That was the problem with battleships. Back in the day when battleships were the thing, they very routinely, somewhere around the world, there was a powder accident. Once a year, somebody's battleship got a boo-boo.
That's right. They keep the propellant charge and the shell separate on those great big guns. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was vary the range by how many powder bags they put in.
Yeah. How many bags? Yeah. And of course, the other thing is that would make the shell too big to handle.
Yeah. In fact, even to this day, with a lot of artillery, it comes down to field artillery. It's like, well, you put the shell in, and you put the powder bags in, and boom.
So instead of claw and ball feet on furniture, do ponies have hooves on theirs? I imagine many do.
Yes, some of them do. We actually have a little end table in our cottage in my dreamscape by the front door that we acquired actually fairly recently, as far as the timeline goes currently. The things that you folks have read that has the little hooves. We'll pick it up on our road trip we're going to pick up to this summer. It's going to be kind of exciting.
Yep. Lucretius, actually, it sounds like your path is pretty clear. You need to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about the best you can do. It's all the advice we can give you.
Yep. I said the claw would come from griffins instead of from that would be that's it, importing griffin furniture.
Yeah. It's exotic. Kind of like, in the 19th century it was popular getting Japanese lacquer furniture for your home. Okay, we still got a few minutes before our next break, though. I'll get this done. Alright. And I need to check. His color is
Purple. Oh.
He's a plain gray. Question, Rebel. Would you describe his coat being darker than his mane and tail?
Yeah, Cretius, in any event, we probably don't need the full list anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Happy Place. Happy Place, Happy Place.
Yes, darker than mane and tail. Okay, I'll sure I get that shade in then.
Awkward tail sitter. Well, I imagine that the seat cushion stuffing would have sort of a groove.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sure you wouldn't put pressure on the tail.
And it'll really just be a question of how your nerve endings work too, and everything, and how flexible it is.
Currently trying to figure out how to fit a kilt onto a pony. Well, step one, no underwear. What makes you wonder what they use for a sporran?
Yeah.
Do not bother me, Mr. Kangaroo. This one could be you.
Mm-hmm.
The sporran is the little pouch thing that sits low front and center on a Scotsman, with it when he's wearing a kilt in his full regalia. It's made from the gooly bits of a kangaroo.
What was it made of before they got to Australia?
Brits. Yeah, like badgers or horses or something. Whatever had, sheep, whatever had big goolies that needed to be lopped off. Goolies, that's a very formal word, by the way.
Oh, okay, good. It's important to know these things. How do you spell that?
Goolies. Goolies. Although in scientific circles, they're known as nards.
Nards, oh. So you never say this show isn't educational.
Exactly. Oh, Larry, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize.
There's actually a guy on YouTube who I watch his videos. It goes under a British muzzle loader, and he does a lot of going out and shooting. Period, like Martini Henrys and Phil Snyders. It is kind of amusing to watch him go out. He'll actually go out in period kit and shoot too. And some of the interesting little things he just kind of discovers from doing that, as far as they were trying to do this to make it better and easier for the soldier, but because they did this other thing, they actually make the problem just as bad or worse. And there's a couple of cases where he's been in Highland kit, and in particular where he was doing one winter shoot. And he lives up in Canada, so he's out in the snow, and he has to shoot some of the parts of the course sitting. And some of the amazing noises he makes when he sits down in the snow.
That would tend to be a chilling experience.
Yes. Yes, it would. All right. It's about time for us to switch the camera back.
It is. That's there.
And
Here, I'll turn that off. There. Here we go. Over here. Over there. And 1, 2, 3. Click.
Click. All right. Okay.
I'll let him tell you. I'll let you tell him that yourself, Gracious.
Oh.
The horse rode a bike, however, to stop its tail getting caught in the spokes. So the answer to that would be carefully.
Yes. Right. That's one of those cases where you tie your tail up or something like that, and you would. When I do a lot of tech, I refer to it as Type 2 tech, which is tech that looks really, really awesome until you get up and go get a drink. And as you're taking your drink out of the fridge, you go, but wait a minute. How does that even work?
Yeah. With
don't
difficulty.
Worry. Don't worry, it looks cool. That's all we're worried about.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess then we will see you folks in about this many minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Go stretch. Go stretch.
I shall.
Be biological, and we will see you then. In the meantime, I'm going to click on this thing right here that says Intermission. Engineering. Go inspect the sound of the engines.
They sound fine, so.
Yeah, right. Welcome back, folks.
Yes.
I can make a car. It's been sitting for 50 years running in, but I can't human. Well, cars are easier to get along with and somewhat less expensive.
Yeah, unless it's electrical.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Some people I know are pretty expensive just to be around.
Yeah, this is true. All right. So we're basically tonight we're plowing through doing Patreon rewards, and I'm actually going to get back to a McClaw.
McClaw, I see you.
Yes. It's been something I've been going back and forth and have been playing around in my head, and I think tonight I know exactly what I want to do.
What you want to do?
Well, last year he asked me To do basically a patina, little
Tragedy.
body pillow.
Uh-oh. Oh, let's say the world's say smallest. I got
Like
the
the-
word.
Daki
Kimura.
Daki Kimura, exactly. We're gonna do a Daki Kimura. So I'm gonna do a patina Daki Kimura, and I'll do it life size, so that
Life size for her.
yes. And what I'll do is I'll do the as a neck pillow, and it will be I'll take it. I'm gonna scan it into the computer, and then I'm gonna color it up. He gets the sketches, and then I'm going to be just real quick, Engineer Sam, no problem. I am enjoying High Point. I'll be folks. Just High Point is a book that Engineer Sam loaned me. It's from my old school, Art Center College of Design, and it is an incredible book about doing automobile design. So yes, I'm going to do the sketches. I'm going to do one of the sketches for the Daki Kimura, and then I'm going to scan it into the computer. I'm going to colorize it up, and then I'm going to basically test the waters to see if there's enough folks who just might actually consider
That would be you guys
buying it for make it worthwhile for me to actually do like a production run.
Oh my!
And maybe do some kind of like Kickstarter or some type of crowdsourcing. To get,
or just take orders.
To take orders.
Somebody just take orders.
Yeah, but I need to find a place where I can get them made and everything like that.
Well, there's a lot of folks in the pony fandom that do Dakis, but but the small ones. Any place that does silk screen.
Yeah, little small guy. It won't be no problem. I'd want to spend like thousands of bucks for it.
There you go.
So,
all right. So let's go back to it then.
Yep. I've been playing back and forth and saying how I want to do it. Of course, it's two different poses. It's the front view and the back view. And pardon me a moment here, is the blue tape for some reason tonight is being very, very... I'm going to change the tape. New pieces of tape. And we're going to change our glasses right now before anyone says, hey, Baron, your glasses. Well, I changed them, so... Meh. There. We need a piece of paper. And I need to make a trip over to Kelly Paper this next week and buy another ream, because I bought a new ream at the beginning of the year, and I have already burned through almost all 250 sheets. Gives you an idea how much work I'm producing. A lot of stuff sometimes you folks don't see. It's their development work, or it's just brainstorming work. And okay, this is pretty junky stuff.
Just mention Patina. She'll take care of the rest.
Yeah. All right.
LS swaps Jaguar. Sounds like YouTube roadkill to me. Well, answer is drop a small block Chevy in it. It's a pretty standard answer. So I rewired it.
Small block Chevy fits almost in anything. Okay, now one thing I'm going to do right now, just to keep things correct, is Patina Deer here is 8.5 inches tall. So I'm going to at least mark off on the paper 8.5. The pose, I'm going to have an arm over her head, so she should be a bit taller than that overall length, but her body length is 8.5 inches. So I know that if I stay within that confine, there.
Yep. SBC, small block Chevy. While on the topics of books, do you have any art teaching books you'd recommend?
Whew. Yeah, and I've actually been tempted to go through and put together a book list. A lot of it is just all very, very basic, fundamental stuff. And I'd probably break it down to basic theories of art, techniques of art, and then artists that I think would be worth your time actually taking a look at and studying. Especially if you want to get an idea where I got some of my inspiration from. Jack Ham's drawn human hand figures, a good one. Oh yes, the Japanese band World Order. Yeah, they're great.
Will Roan physical books be for sale at BronyCon?
Oh yes, yes.
So Robert did another printing.
He's going to do another printing. We're going to have the poker chips
Very nice.
available, so you can buy the poker chips, which patina is on the one chip. So you can get poker chips at Roan. We are going to have quite a few of the artists there, and we're looking at Clear Skies can confirm whether or not we're going to be able to pull it off, but we're hoping to actually do another demo game like we did at BronyCon or at BabsCon.
Would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of poker chips, let's see if I can grab one of the room invites.
Mm-hmm. And tentatively, I may be on a panel at BronyCon, back on the pony. Basically, the pony drawing school. Yep, poker chips. In Roan, one of the things that you can do is get what they call like style chips or luck chips, and you can use these for, okay, I want to, I want a certain way for an event to happen. Like, I want, the guy who is charging up to me slip on a banana peel. I think it's a busy street. There's all kinds of things happening. Someone's dropped a banana peel on the streets. I'm willing to give you 3 points to let that happen. And the GM can go, okay, maybe. Okay, fine. I think that'd be funny. It would help with the gameplay. It'd help with the setting. You're doing a very comedic type, setting. You can use the chips to basically help influence the game. The same way the GM can give you chips for, hey, I thought you guys handled that really, really well. That was exactly in character. That was a really great way you handled the problem. So,
or stuck to your character, even though it was not the most optimum thing to do.
Yeah. So I'll give you some chips. Or your character usually has, headstrong or is impulsive. Well, instead of going back and telling the party about this, you might, go ahead and check this out yourself. I'm going to give you 3 chips. You can pull this off.
Bribe, yeah.
Yeah. So they're basically used to help control the flow of the game. At BabsCon, they got used a lot by folks.
Well, yeah, they should flow.
Yes.
You don't hoard them. I mean, you spend them almost as fast as you get them.
Right. And it's a way to help, just keep the flow of the game going a certain particular way.
Let me see here. See if I can get a good focus in on that.
Understand Comics? Yes. Understand Comics is an excellent... I would also say Will Eisner's Comics in the Sequential Arts.
Oh, yeah.
Is a good one.
You know anything about Eisner or McLeod?
Mm-hmm. Nice thing about Understand Comics is you'll just learn about art in general. You'll just learn basic ideas about art theory and everything.
Yeah. This whole bit about style points, fate points, whatever it is becoming sort of a part of a lot of modern role-playing games. Again, it's if you want your game to be less crunchy, and by that usually means number crunching. Less like a war game, less like a tactical simulation, less like, I must optimize everything I do, I must min-max everything I do. And if you want to be more cinematic, more dramatic, not necessarily realistic, but just more fun. That seems to be the modern trend, and again, the whole thing with style points, fate points. The My Little Pony, the official My Little Pony role-playing game uses friendship points, but it's the same thing. It's showing up everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we had Dave's MLP game had them, and actually, if you go back to the old James Bond game, they had what they called you had fame points or infinite points. Infinite points, if I remember correctly. Because I remember we used an awful lot of them in when we played the Goldfinger module.
Yeah. In the game that we did, I played a pony who was an ex-smuggler, well, mostly ex. And his thing was hammers, sledgehammers, that kind of thing. And he kept an antique war hammer, in his office, and he knew how to use it. Remember, I told you about war hammers being overpowered? Holy hell, they're overpowered. But I had one. There was one scene. It was a brawl in a bar. That it turns out that there was a couple of extra attendees to the brawl. Those were assassins who were sent to, take out the investigation team. And one of the ponies had gotten one of the assassin ponies had gotten clobbered, and my character ended up with his rifle. My character has no rifle skills. So here comes another guy, running up to me, and he's going to say he's going to
do unfortunate things.
Do unfortunate things to me. So I take the rifle and I say, basically just shoved it in his face and just said, here, you take this. And he grabs it and he looks at it. What? And in that, basically, I had him a loaded rifle. He just like stared at it, basically flatlined for a moment. And in that moment, I was able to, say to, lights out, bonk him a good one. And it was a big risk because I was handing him a loaded gun. But again, he just flatlined for a moment because that's the last thing you expect, from an opponent. And I got a couple of style points for that.
Yeah.
Later on, I spent them. We were in a chase, where it was an old, deuce and a half, open back pickup truck, and we were chasing, the bad guys, in their truck, and they had a crate full of, stolen goods, that included stuff that we wanted to get, and so they popped open one of their crates, and inside is a machine gun and a pony behind it. So, of course, we're bouncing along on the road, and they're taking occasional wild pot shots at us and all that. And we caught up to them. We're about 30 feet behind. And I'd been collecting some of my points there, and I took the whole stack of them. It was like 5 or 6 of them. And I hand them to Robert, and I say, we hit a bump. The bump is really hard on the rear end. It makes the truck that I'm in kind of buck. The rear end comes up way high, kind of like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it launches me into the air towards the other truck. And Robert's like, "Oh, that is just too good." And I did a death from above, with a warhammer.
Right to the roof, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and as it came down, it was a canvas roof. Came down through that, obliterated, the pony that was sitting behind the machine gun. It was just a classic, slow motion, from the side thing. It was unrealistic. Yeah, who cares? It was cool. That was the point. It was cool.
Yes. Indiana Jones should have been basically turned into ground meat being drugged behind that truck in Raiders of the Lost Ark. But who cares? We were having a grand time. And he got to beat up Nazis.
Yep, exactly. Orca, the whole point was to have the butt of the rifle. No. It's in the guy's stomach. No. This I just had this little scene in my mind of it was a little bit more comedic, at least at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, besides my particular pony, he had only 1 point in gun skill. It's like, but again, you do the last thing your opponent expects, and they'll flatline for a moment, and then you take advantage of that.
As long as you can keep the initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you did.
Exactly. You know, and it worked, and I didn't have to, kill him. I didn't have to shoot him or nothing.
Nope. And Catspaw's character was great too, because she was utterly relentless. This, very. I'm a very bookish type character, but I'm absolutely methodical and ruthless in my investigation, and I'll get to the bottom of this, and I don't care what kind of eldritch horror comes out after that room. I'm going to finish my investigation. Yes, I will.
Exactly. Well, that was actually the reason my character got involved, because she was a police detective, and we generated our characters on the spot. And later on, wrote the backstory. That during the incident in which my character had gone from being a smuggler to an ex-smuggler, she was involved.
Mm-hmm.
And she was she was the detective that basically, when he turns, not exactly turned state's evidence, but there was in the backstory says that there was an assassination about to happen of a police inspector's wife, to try and get the police off of the organized criminals that my character was very loosely affiliated with. My character found out about it and said, that's too far. I mean, she isn't even involved. She's not even the cop. So when he got arrested, he immediately turned to the first detective he saw, which was Dave's character, and said, we got to talk. And said, go to this bell tower at such and such a time and such a place. And they found the bad guy, and that was that. So at that point, he was sentenced to, because he was a smuggler, he was sentenced to a very light sentence. And they just made sure that they backdated his police records to indicate that he was in jail at the time, so that the crime bosses wouldn't think that he had fingered them. Mm. No, I couldn't have told him that say you had an assassinate. Or I was in jail at the time because of you. Mm-hmm. And he just took that opportunity to get out and said, the crime family in question, was basically taken out, at that point. So, and then a player character was born. Let's see. Ah, yes, on Avalon Hill games. I used to have a few of them.
As Avalon Hill died for your sins.
Yeah. Or, as Dave puts it, SPI.
Mm-hmm.
But I played Third Reich, Panzerblitz, Richthofen's War, Kingmaker. Kingmaker was fun. I had Outdoor Survival, which mostly needed because if you wanted to play original Dungeons and Dragons, back before it was called that, back when it was
Chainmail.
It was Chainmail, then it was Men in Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first thing it says is, go buy yourself a copy of this game because we're going to use that as the game world. They're just going to scale it up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, there were a couple of other, well, of course, Diplomacy.
Yeah.
The destroyer of families and friendships.
Yes.
I like Diplomacy.
I played Diplomacy in college, and you're correct. It can really, really, really strain.
Yeah. Let's say Pink. I was talking about the demonstrator Roan game, which was basically the one that Robert ran was a crime mystery,
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of Lovecraft thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Roan is set in call it 1920s, 1930s technology era, pulp fiction, type of thing. Think original Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. And so we were dealing with people who were smuggling these jewels that people were getting that was part of a necklace that had been broken up, into its individual component jewels, and there was Yes, and there was a family which had owned it, and apparently they were trying to reassemble it, and stopping at absolutely nothing to get a hold of all of the gems,
and
including making deals with eldritch horrors.
Yeah, and we're kind of like making Jackson Pollock paintings out of.
Oh yeah, Robert likes his horror.
That's why I'm so happy that he's always giving me carte blanche on the Rathvarians for the next expansion. It's gonna be fun. I'm already working on designs and everything for them.
Yes, Pony and Griffin miniatures made by Impact Miniatures and Splat. Yeah, get them at the table of the people who do Pony Finder.
Yeah.
David Silver. Yeah, actually, I've got one. I'm gonna go grab one and I'll show you what it is they sell. They're very good quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, David Silver generally does a pretty good top shelf thing. Yes, it's Art Deco era. It's Sam Spade and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is Sky Captain, The World of Tomorrow. It's The Rocketeer. It is Terry and the Pirates. All that stuff. That's the kind of vibe for the especially the first Roan book. Second Roan book, Roan World at War, is going to be a little bit more World War II. But it's going to start out with more of a Spanish Civil War type feel, and then it's going to kind of grow into being something bigger.
All right, let's see here. Let's see if it will focus. Oh, there we go.
That's what there. Time to put my balls in place. Babies.
Change over actually just for a very brief moment to get a good close-up of this miniature. It's really good stuff. Let's see here. Okay. And that one. There we go. Yeah, I can focus on that. Isn't that a great miniature? But so yeah, those are the miniatures that the well, one of the miniatures that the folks who do Pony Finder had commissioned.
Looks like a Monopoly piece. No, it's much better looking than a Monopoly piece. When you see one in the flesh and blood, the molding is far more detailed and far more crisp than a Monopoly.
Pink, I think I paid like $6 or something like that for it.
Yeah, quite affordable actually.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to paint it up, and this is going to become, Calvados. That is my main character pony that I play whenever it is important to have style.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the pony miniatures are nightmare filled. These aren't. Again, it's and the thing is, there's about 20 or 30 different minis they have now. That's true. We are being reminded. We need to talk about this art store somewhere.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, thank you.
Especially if my former boss is lurking in the.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike, if you are.
Wait.
Or if Jeff Braunschweiber, the assistant manager, is there. And just to let people know, July 8th stream, one of my former coworkers is going to be a guest artist on the show. Jaya King is her name. and Jaya is going to be doing an encaustics demo.
This is incredibly cool. This is the style and method of art that was used by the original Old Kingdom Egyptian tomb painters that has withstood 5,000 years or more of time.
Yeah.
It involves beeswax pigment and a blowtorch.
Yeah, or a hot plate. There are some of the tools involve a blowtorch, but some of them also involve a hot plate. And it is amazing stuff. And she's going to be we're going to set up a special downstairs studio area, and we're going to film her. And we're going to have that. And then we'll also just have her up talking and everything like that. It's going to be really lots of fun. And then in September, Jeff Braunschweiber is going to be on the show. And Jeff was his assistant manager at University Art. A good friend of mine, and he is an art teacher, and he has taught Egyptian art at the Rosicrucian Museum in San Jose, California, and he is knowledgeable in Egyptian tomb painting techniques and everything, and he's going to be here on the show talking about that.
Yeah, the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum is one of the best Egyptian, and Babylonian, basically. They're basically, the Mesopotamian, cradle of civilization museums in the entire world.
Yep.
They have a magnificent collection there, and if you're ever in San Jose and you're into that kind of thing, absolutely go see it. So about University Art, they are a high-end art supply and framing store.
Take care, Sarah.
See you. I get all of my framing done there. Baron worked there for 20 years, so they have
almost. I just came short. If I had stayed till September 9th, I would have qualified. But just a few months before I left. But yeah, almost 20 years. Just drew an advertising there.
But again, they do absolutely magnificent museum quality framing. They have stores in San Jose, Redwood City, and Sacramento, California. And again, they are kind enough to be Baron's sponsors in the show, making sure that he has all the materials he needs. So thank you to them. I need to go get more ginger beer for your
refill. Thank you.
For the refill of your brain fuel.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Good night, Rebel. You have a great evening. Thanks for tuning in. He's back.
And there you go.
Thank you, sir.
And this is the Chucktown Sunrise. Bourbon, a little bit of lime juice, ginger beer. The scourier the better. And grenadine, Mix it and ice it and serve it and chug it.
Yep. Of which I'm going to have a pretty good harvest of mint leaves coming up pretty soon. So I thought possibly sometime this summer we have mint juleps on the...
mint juleps and, and mint with the lamb. We're having lamb tonight.
Aha.
Roast leg of lamb and taters and shroomises.
Yes. Good night, Lego. Thanks for tuning in.
Izumi, search for Chucktown Sunrise. Named after Charleston. The way I make it for Baron, 2 shots bourbon.
2 ounces.
The shots I use are bigger than that. And half. So call it about 3.5 ounces of bourbon. About half an ounce of lime juice. You can shake it in a cocktail shaker over ice. We forego that on the reload just to keep the noise down. Put it in a big glass with ice. Fill with ginger beer. I use Reed's. Or Cock and Bull is good too. To the top of the glass. Then pour a little bit of grenadine onto it to sweeten it and give it some pink color. Garnish it with a little bit of orange rind, and serve it up.
Oh, sorry, Lego. I thought you were heading out. My bad. My bad.
Nope. Fall Feathers, tell him to get his butt onto Netflix and look up the Alton Brown episodes on cocktails. Alton Brown gives a few classic, recipes like the margarita, tequila sunrise, Bloody Mary, etc., and where they came from and how to make them without going nuts. So how to make a good martini, etc., etc.
I mean, a good mint julep.
Right. So let's see. The nice thing about there are some cocktails that are pretty cheap to make that are actually as health goes not bad for you. The tequila sunrise is number one. I mean, a lot of orange juice and a little bit of tequila. Just make sure you get silver tequila instead of gold tequila. You can use a good quality gold tequila, say for your tequila sunrises, but do not use a cheap gold tequila because cheap gold tequilas are nasty.
Yeah, that's what gives people the reputation, bad rep for tequila.
Yeah, nothing with the word Cuervo involved. But yeah, Milagro is a good, and Sousa are good tequilas that won't break the bank. Tequila sunrises is basically it's a screwdriver made with tequila instead of vodka, and then again a splash of grenadine on top to give it that beautiful layered color. And
I mean, heck, if you want to, you can make a virgin tequila sunrise,
heck yeah.
and grenadine.
Yeah,
for folks.
Probably yes. Good Eats. Netflix at the moment they tend to have about 20 or 30 Good Eats shows on any at a time. There's over 200 of them. Rumor has it he's going to make some new ones. That would be cool if he does. But they rotate them through, and most of them are available. Of the shows are available in some form or another on either, of course, YouTube or the Food Network, food.com. So yeah, the shows are pretty easy to come by.
Oh, what food do I like? Boy, that really depends on what I had for lunch, to a certain extent. I love Japanese. I love,
Baron's a good cook, by the way.
yeah, I love good Mexican. Really, I just enjoy good food. Period. I don't really have any particular nationality or anything like that I'm partial to. If I was gonna have to say, probably if I got stuck on an island and had to have a meat, it'd probably be chicken. And boy, I sure wish there'd be mushrooms. My wife would hate that; she's allergic to them. But I love mushrooms.
So whenever Baron comes over for the show here, we make sure that dinner includes mushrooms in one form or another.
Yes, like I can't even cook them in the house, unfortunately. Quite often, if I try baking them in the oven, the smell of the spores coming out from them will quite often make my wife quite ill. So it's like,
All right, we'll see you later. Nothing.
Take care.
Are you still working on a cookbook?
Yes, I am. I am still working on a cookbook. I actually need to get some of that to Dave so he can lay some stuff out. I've even done some of the artwork for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's one of the things that'll eventually be a Patreon reward for my patrons. They'll download the recipes if they're a certain dollar amount. They'll download them and print them out. Once again, I always think I've got less time than I have.
Yeah. One of our roommates here, Brian, is a very good cook, and he has been learning the whys and wherefores of sushi lately, and he's been making the Hawaiian, was it musubi?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's
something like that. So basically, it's basically sushi rolls made with Spam, because Hawaiians like their pork.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds gross, but it's good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Spam, a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of a little bit of carrot, just something to give it some snap. And you do classic sushi rolls and cut them up.
He also has a very good dipping sauce for them too.
Yeah, so he makes his own ginger soy dipping sauce, and he makes his own tonkatsu.
Mm-hmm.
And we make that, so it lasts about a minute. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Very good stuff.
No, engineer, I have not. It says, have you seen the Alton Brown Iron Chef's Secret Boss comic?
No, I have not.
Post a link, please.
Yes.
Share.
Have you ever thought of making a cocktail inspired by your characters? Maybe. The problem is that
Well,
there's
you draw a bunch of like martini glass characters.
right,
Yeah.
but actually coming up with a drink.
I'll help you with that.
Yeah, but kind of going for patina would be interesting. She likes a lot of bourbon based. Of course, she's from New Orleans. So
Well, in that case, I would. Let's see.
So
She likes to also pose in martini glasses, so you'd want something that'd be somewhat see-through, so no whiskey sours, because you couldn't see her mousiness. Yeah, so maybe some variant on like a whiskey and soda.
yeah, I've thought of also the thing of doing something for rosemary. Especially with something that actually involves rosemary is one of the ingredients, like a rosemary infused honey or something like that as a sweetener.
So actually, there are quite a few recipes that use sprigs of rosemary. Some of them are based on like Bloody Mary type, setups there. So they have that, tomato juice, Worcestershire sauce, that very umami, very, high in glutamate, type of thing. So it's rosemary is not an uncommon cocktail.
I can fix that. This leg's not long enough. That was the thing that's been bugging me. This leg doesn't look right, and it's too short.
She's a leggy little thing.
Yeah, she is. So I need to put there. Her ankle goes right there instead. Let's fix that before the end of the... So by the way, McClaw, is this working out for you?
Meat in a can sounds disgusting, whether or not it isn't. Well, it's deviled ham. That's what it is. Yeah.
What's that?
Spam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it of course its origins basically come down to how are we going to get meat to our soldiers in World War II that wouldn't turn Yeah, and the thing is, modern spam does not have that gelatin glop that you always open the can and you get the spam out, but there was also this big bleh,
There's still a little
that's just
bit.
not there anymore.
There's still a little bit, but
Depends.
but much less than it used to be. And nowadays with modern refrigeration, we don't realize how different the world was before refrigerators were around.
Yeah, like Frank says, I hope that bra is going to be sheer. I would imagine it would have to be.
Yeah, well, I'm figuring there may be a couple versions of this I might do. I might have one, with bra, one without bra. I may offer options for how people want to have the pillow. Remember, if nothing else, I can just do it as layers in the computer.
Yeah, I can copy paste that, Sam. In fact, I'm going to have to save that. Copy, go over to the browser, and go over to here.
The freezer, get that box.
I'm helping.
Yes.
Paste and go. And then save.
But yeah, it looks like we're going to have a good bout of mint. Actually, our garden this year is going bonkers. We are getting just great outputs on our squash. We're going to have crook squash, and they're doing pretty good. Our cucumbers look like they're taking off. Tomato plant, at least one of them is doing really good. The other one needs to get in the game. We got basil. I'm about ready to start making pesto, probably. Pesto sauce.
Ooh, there's a couple other really just checking out what's going on Patreon. Assassin Monkey's on and Silpho's on.
Yeah,
folks, you got to be watching Assassin Monkey and Silpho.
There's some amazing folks doing. Oh, but Silpho's still on?
Yeah, well, she's been on all day.
Yeah, Silpho started at like 10 a.m. Damn.
Yeah, if anybody is not following Royal Sketchbook, you need to follow Royal Sketchbook. It's one of the best things currently going in the fandom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Royal Sketchbook is awesome. I like Meet the Pones.
Yeah. Well, that's somebody else.
That's Dilorous.
Yeah.
And it is rather crass at times.
It's basically My Little Pony meets Olaf.
Yes.
So let's see here. So going down the list, is there anybody in attendance for whom this is their first show? Because we'd love to say hi to you.
Yes. Digital Art's coming along, Pink. You missed the beginning. I'm doing a lot of my color thumbnails, color roughs, color studies. I'm doing those now digitally instead of traditional media, so that I can learn more about it. I'm still not happy with my color work. My line work is definitely getting better, and I'm getting better at learning things like layer management and learning the importance of when you're done with a layer, lock it so you can't accidentally draw on the wrong layer.
Yeah. I suspect that that one will bite just about anyone.
Yeah, if you search around, basically, kind of do like Google search for webcomics layer mistakes, you'll find hundreds of people who had that. I hate the world and everything in it because I just realized I did my final inks on the sketch layer. But I'm experimenting with that and getting better at. My wife is being very, very helpful. Of course, she's done a lot more digital art than I have. So she's doing commissions right now and everything. And has got a new story idea that has popped up in her head. She's starting to write it out and actually post some of the characters and stuff like that on her Patreon. Which is kind of interesting because I'm going to play a little bit of consulting on that one. Yeah, layer, lock it.
Yeah, early on in the My Little Pony fandom, there was somebody did a vector, of Cadillac Castle from like Best Night Ever. Remember that one? 2010, yeah.
2011.
Yeah, 2011 by the time that one broadcast, yeah. And did it in Photoshop. 18,000 layers. He was doing one layer per area of basically, as each outlined area or filled area like that. And it's an incredibly detailed pic. He did a rendering of it as a PNG that was 30,000 pixels by 18,000 pixels, and the original was 18,000 layers. Holy hell!
Yeah, I'm not doing anything that extensive. In fact, I'm actually been trying to practice that some people have been recommending. Try to keep your layers to a minimum. If nothing else, helps you keep better layer management.
Yeah, well, it keeps you from going insane. It keeps your computer from exploding and catching fire.
That too. Also, too, it does kind of slow down. Which layer do I need to work on? That just kind of takes some of the spontaneity out of the whole.
Yeah, Nezumi, all of them, I think.
Yeah.
The picture as rendered was 30,000 by 18,000.
Yeah.
I think you can still get a one that's like a quarter of that resolution at Derpy Baru.
Yes, Cat's Nightmare, your timing is perfect. This is actually pose one I'm going to be doing for a little body pillow for her, eventually. When I get it all worked out, I'll probably be...
the Daiki Kamini.
Yes. I'll probably have a couple of variants of various degrees of undress for her.
Yeah, Pinka was the artist in question said, it was excessive, but he just tends to. He said that he tended to work in lots of layers to begin with. And he got started, and then after he passed 1,000, he just said, "I'm going to see how far I can push it."
Yeah.
And again, it was an incredibly busy piece.
Having drawn the Camelot Palace a few times, yes, it is a very, very, very.
Will it be a wraparound, Auntie? Let's see.
That's actually one thing we'll keep in mind. I have to double check to see what the size of body pill. We may adjust how splayed out the garment is right now. We'll work out that little detail later.
Let's see if I can do a search here. Let's see if I can find that picture.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good tonight. We got a good crowd, especially considering all the conventions that are going on this weekend, and it's Memorial Day weekend, which is the start of the official barbecue and burn food. Hopefully not yourself in the process. And some folks in some parts of the country are getting some pretty wild weather, apparently, so... I'm always very, very surprised and very honored at the number of folks that are willing to take their Saturdays and say, this is going to be my Saturday evening, is hanging out and watching some guy make lines on a piece of paper. It's kind of a humbling experience, actually.
Just a little bit crazy. Well, I'm not seeing. I saw an excerpt from it. To see if I can. I know it's on DeviantArt somewhere. But I will get stubborn and find it later.
Yes.
Of course, for this one, it wouldn't necessarily be. If you're going to be making a life-size thing for her, this could just be a small, regular proportion pillow.
That's too. That's another possibility.
Yeah.
Little throw pillow.
Or a head pillow.
Yes, or a head pillow.
For kisu.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that Bettina a lot of people would love to have Bettina as their waifu.
Yeah, but she isn't the committing kind.
No.
Or at least not exclusively.
Yeah, she likes the grays, as she says in Quest for Dreamscape. I like the grays.
Yeah.
Check out the lay of the land.
Oh, and Sam, that's just crazy. 27-foot long, Lamia Daiki.
Oh, great.
That is just That's nuts. Great grandfather Goo. Hey, Tox. Senpai Lingerie Baron.
Yes, he did a cartoon that he put up today that was inspired by me.
Uh-oh.
If you check him on Deviant or hey, Toxic, can you put a link up?
Linky, linky, linky.
It was like literally the first thing in the morning that I saw. It was like, had just like got my coffee, sat down, turned on the computer. Oh look, let's go through my DeviantArt, see if I got any notes or anything like that. Oh look, there's a mention involving me. I'll go take a look at. Oh, and the moment it happened, Patina just started laughing in my head.
Sure thing, Bravo, as long as it's a link to to Safe for Work. So what color garments are you considering for this?
Possibly green, because her eyes are green. Might I might try several different colors. That's one of the other options. I can change colors.
Yeah, I think lavender would work well because that complements the green.
Yes, it does. That was one of the ones was
lavender and again the see-through part would be very pale lavender with the heavier parts, like like the breeches and all that would be like a violet and then maybe just a little green highlight here and there.
Yeah, because like the bows. Because the brothel that she worked at a mouse and rat brothel in New Orleans called the Mouse Trap, but it was in connection with a very old established brothel called Maison de Lavender, Mansion of Lavender or House of Lavender. So that would even make sense. Besides, as Luna told us, lavender is very...
Teens will be teens. Oh, my.
Yes.
An L-shaped centaur Nike.
Yeah.
That's just... Yeah.
Yeah.
If you talk about last week, Toxic, that was Free Comics Day.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, it went pretty well.
Oh yes, it went very, very well. We had a very good turnout. My wife had a great time. The weather was actually very, very nice, which was important because we were outdoors for the event. We were worried earlier on in the week that it was going to be really, really hot, and actually ended up being quite cool. We actually wore windbreakers for the event. Good sales for it, and I think it's one of the things that helped inspire my wife. She's now working, like I say, she's got a project. It's been kind of eating her mind, and she's been kind of like, there's anything that I really should be getting back to, but I've got this thing, and it won't let go, so I'm just going to stay focused on this. Okay, we're about time to take our break here.
Just about.
So I think that will...
There you go. There's the centaur.
Yes.
Stocky.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Japan, don't ever change.
The food was good. We had pretty good food. They catered it, and actually did a good job catering it, and then we had a nice lunch before, and we had a nice dinner after, so it went well. Let me switch over to the radar cam.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, clicky.
So now I think I need to do the back view of her basically laying on her belly.
Yep.
For it.
Mousy buns.
Mousy buns. And she's got them. Yep. And then, like I say, I'll put it in the computer and start working on it, getting it all colorized.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I've sold about 10 billion of them for 402.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to take the last break of the evening, and we will be back in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So go be biological, go stretch, and we will catch you folks for the last lap.
Yep. See ya.
And,
Welcome back.
And Fall Feathers, that looks like the inception of World War One.
Oh, by the way, hello, Sean. Glad you can make it. You made it for the last hour at least.
Alrighty. So we're down to the last of the show. What you got on your drawing pad for the last hour?
Well, I'm going to do another Patreon reward, and I'm going to do it for a new person. One of my new $50 people who came in and they said, "Hey, I have this idea. Would you be willing to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I don't think they're in the chat. I don't see their name unless they maybe got so I'm gonna try to attempt to pronounce this name. Forgive me if I completely shred your thing here. I think I can
click
do this. So it's interesting because through the remote. 5 comments on your Patreon. Let's see here. This from there. Blah, 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 blah.
Click.
This is not showing comments. It's not showing the messages. I mean, I know what I am supposed to do, so it's not like I need
more of that apple bloom.
Nope, not apple bloom this time. There we go. Okay. Yeah, if you are, and I'm going to mispronounce, I'm going to spell this because I would probably horribly pronounce this elsewise.
Mizuo.
Mizuo 164. If you happen to be in the chat under a different name or you're lurking, I'm going to be doing your commit little thing here. So, okay. Yep. It's going to be a rosemary.
Uh-oh.
So I've done a patina, and now I'm going to do a rosemary.
Uh-oh. Well, in that case, I should probably do this.
Yes, you probably should. All right.
Toxic. Which Luna dream pick was that?
Yeah.
That may have been... Bloody Rainbow. No, actually, that's from Baron's own dream arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a thing that's going on with that and an MLP Dreamscape of mine that Apple Bloom's been working with Luna, basically becoming her
Padawan learner.
Yeah, her lieutenant. Because she's the only pony that she's ever found who can actually do some of the things that Luna does in the Dream Realm.
But we will talk about that, about the differences between Baron canon and canon after the U.S. has had a chance to see that episode. So
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Because there are some similarities, but there's some very big differences too.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing, Box Good, one of the coolest things about the post office is that they give you free boxes and free, decent quality envelopes and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? Your tax dollars in action.
Exactly. When I use the, I ship most of our art to clients via the U.S. Postal Service. They're usually the best bang for the buck. And I use their envelopes to store all of the Patreon rewards for folks. And then I simply mail them out to them. All right. Just so we have a nice...
Okay, say pink, that is just ordinary
blue tape.
Painter's tape, yeah. The thing is that Baron uses high quality cardstock for his instead of just ordinary paper as his material.
Yeah, actually, since I recently did Rosemary as a Patreon reward for someone else, I'll be doing another one of her. And thinking about this will probably be... Will it be a landscape or a portrait? Landscape, portrait, landscape, portrait, landscape, portrait. I think we're going to go...
Yep, nothing too fancy here. Baron, instead of using say, a really expensive Bristol board or anything like that for say for this work, uses a particular brand of 100% linen cardstock. No, 100% cotton. I'm sorry, 100% cotton cardstock. That is
Actually,
pennies per sheet.
Yeah, Truth in Advertising. I recently found out that may not be correct. I'm actually talking to Kelly Paper, and when I buy my next ream of paper, I might actually be upping it even a bit better in quality. It is still good. It's still excellent paper, but it's not 100% cotton, and I want to get 100% cotton paper.
Yeah.
For folks.
So Tox wants to know if there's a particular show that we'd like to see rebooted, the way that MLP has. That's a hard one because the shows that I liked, I'm afraid they'd be ruined.
Yeah, or they've already been rebooted. With varying degrees of that didn't work.
Yeah, like the Thundercats reboot. We're going to be edgy by making them argue all the time. Oh, yeah, that's the skilled writer right there. That's why we pay you guys, yeah.
I mean, I have to admit, they did reboot in 2015. One of my all-time favorite shows as a kid. I have not had a chance to see any of the actual episodes, but they rebooted Thunderbirds, or Go. And that was a hugely influential show for me.
Well, for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to see Brave Star redone. And I may have seen a rumor here that at least somebody's at least thinking about it. Because the thing about Brave Star is that the show was very courageous in not pulling any punches. Again, I say a lot of you may have got your first exposure to Brave Star through MLP Silver Quill's review about fallen heroes, and he referred to an episode of Brave Star in which Brave Star he's on New Texas, and he's a marshal, and he's basically the only law enforcement for the area, and he has to go after one of his heroes who murdered somebody. And we're not talking like G.I. Joe, they shot down the plane, but you always see the parachute. No, it's like, no, he blew him away. And they didn't use the word destroyed. No, he murdered him. He killed him. His sidekick, 3030, who is a transforming horse, partially robot critter, he likes Sarah Jane, and Sarah Jane is his BFG, big friggin' gun, and he usually solves his problems with Sarah Jane. And they had an episode that was all about, shooting everything you don't like isn't necessarily the way to solve your problems, and it caused a big rift between the two. And imagine doing something where it's like, I like to kill my enemies in kid shows.
But by the way, yes, you're correct. Thunderbirds or Go was the Super Marionation by Gary Anderson. Will Scott and the Mysterions, and Fireball XL5, Supercar. Those were all Gary Anderson. And technically, this TV series UFO was as well. But what they found out with Captain Scarlet and the Mysterions is they accidentally ended up falling into the Uncanny Valley. And they realized, no, we were getting close enough to looking like real humans. And for a lot of the outdoor scenes where they had, characters supposedly running around, they actually had actors doing that. And they went, no, this is getting too close. So when they did UFO, they decided we're just going to make it live action. And UFO was one of my favorite shows as a kid, too.
Yeah, 3030, best cyborg hosbando.
Yes.
With 80s country singer hair.
Yes.
Yeah, we always wondered about him, but we know the answer. Now, and there were an awful lot of people that were, commenting about, the relationship between Brave Star and 3030 is kind of subject to speculation here.
Yeah.
Because they sure as hell dropped enough hints, and this is like 1982.
Yeah.
They dropped plenty of hints, and like, oh boy. But what else? What else we got that might be good? Yeah, well, the original Knight Rider was, in a 4-year-old, 12-year-old kid was the best thing ever. The reboot that they did was awful, and I don't think that they're going to do a second reboot because, well, they screwed up any chances of that the first time.
At least not for quite a while. That's what the bad taste got
Yeah,
people's mouths.
I would say Speed Racer, but they made a movie out of that, which was okay, I guess.
Yeah, man. But talk about Hulu.
They tried.
When Hulu came on the air, they had, at least for a while, I don't know if they still do, the classic Speed Racer. And boy, I remember, like, oh boy, I'm going to watch some of this and see what it's like. And it's like,
yeah,
dear.
most of it's pretty painful. Most of it's pretty painful, but there were still a few shows that held up. The most dangerous, well, not the most dangerous race, the Great Alpine Race, the only 3-parter.
Uh-huh.
That was good. There was some creepy stuff in that.
Yeah.
Like his nightmare. Where so he turns into the toothy demon and all that. I was like, oh man, that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I was like 7 at the time. But no, that was.
I remember getting out of school, and if I
risking your life,
riding as fast as I could on my bicycle, sometimes running red lights so that I could get weave through the traffic. If I got home in time, I could get just in the house in time before a Speed Racer came on. And I remember watching it years later and going, I risked life and limb for this.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah. When I was, again 6, 7 years old, Kimber the White Lion. That was the shiznit. Went back and watched some of that, and oh my god.
Yeah.
I watched that. Yeah. And they tried to do a reboot in the early mid -- and actually I think I'm thinking Andrea Libman was involved in that, and or at least a couple of the casts. But anyway, and it was. To be honest, it was awful. And of course, there was a movie, Jungle Emperor Leo, which was Kimba's father. No, it was Kimba's kid. Yeah. And that was a made-for-Japan movie. And like all of Tezuka's work, very beautiful. The actual animation quality wasn't very good, but he could tell a story.
I will actually recommend. It's now about a decade old movie that was done. Otomo, Akira. He back in the early 2000s did a feature-length movie of Tezuka's Metropolis. And it is actually a very good film, and it is very interesting to listen to the musical score because it's all done as Dixieland jazz. And at first when I was listening to the soundtrack, I went, this is what I imagined for Metropolis. And I started listening, no, this actually does work for the world. But it was funny because they wanted to do the movie so badly, but they were so afraid that, as they put, the ghost of Tezuka is going to come back if we don't do a good job and he's going to kill us. So they kept on going, okay, well, we like this idea here. You think Tezuka would kill us for it?
Probably.
We'll change that. Or I think he might like that if we get enough time to explain it to him before he kills us.
Yeah, Christopher Lee would do that on the set of Lord of the Rings because he knew J.R.R. Tolkien fairly well. And, he would just, he'd be in his full Saruman, get up, and he would stalk up to Peter Jackson and say, no, man, John would never have had it that way. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, but...
Well, see, a reboot of Reboot.
Yeah, perfect.
My smudge loves Reboot.
We're going to call it Restore from Backup.
Time Machine.
What others? Ultraman would be fun, but but again, I suspect that if I went back and rewatched the old Ultraman, stuff, I would like wonder what I was smoking when I was 7.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And again, it's just there's a lot of stuff that if it was redone, they would just mess it up. Yeah. Again,
Tailspin.
Things like Tailspin and Rescue Rangers. That was it. I would love to see them rebooted and done right.
By
I
Disney.
am confident they would not be done right. I am fully confident. I mean, I would love to see a Tailspin where Rebecca Cunningham was not constantly being just a naggy little shrew, and Baloo was not constantly just a party boy. I would like to see
Lower depth of the characters.
but we wouldn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing with Tailspin was the stories and the world building that they did, which was magnificent.
Yeah.
But the characterization, gotta tell you, can you imagine what a reboot of Johnny Bravo would be like? Probably less bold than it was.
Yeah.
We're much more politically correct. So Johnny B would not make it.
I loved the Scooby-Doo episode they did.
Ari Coyote, Lord of the Rings, it was actually 13-year-old son of Viggo Mortensen was the one who he was brought along because Viggo Mortensen takes his kid wherever he goes and for movie shoots and just brings a private tutor. And it was Viggo Mortensen's kid that when Mortensen was first offered the part, told him, you will do this or I will destroy you and disown you, because he was a huge Tolkien fan, but Mortensen had never read Lord of the Rings. And he actually caught a couple of errors on the set of Rath Dinan, which was, the top of Minas Tirith, where the statues of the old kings are. They were in the wrong order. Of course, you can't see this in the movie, but they had put like plaques on each one of them to help the actors get into it. And they put the names of the kings, and Mortensen's kid was touring it, it's just like, wow, this is so cool, this is so great. Oh, wait a second, these two should be reversed, they're in the wrong order. And Peter Jackson was like, you sure? And hold out his copy of Return of the King, pulled out the appendices, and said, yeah, and said, okay, you want a job? Gonna work in continuity. If you catch errors like this on the sets, in the future, you let us know and we'll fix it.
Mm-hmm.
God, what a dream job.
Mm-hmm. Especially at that age.
God, at any age.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, you make me a continuity checker on a Lord of the Rings, filming the Silmarillion or something like that. I was like, I'll quit my job and go, bye.
Yep. Well, I'll say, and of course, just working with Weta and people like Alan Lee and everything. Like, oh, God, Alan Lee.
Yeah.
Squee!
Yeah, as Castle points out, Rebecca wasn't supposed to be the shrew all the time, but I suspect it's like the Worf effect. It's like that was, just the one thing in the writer's Bible about that Rebecca will be sometimes be kind of naggy, and everybody just chose to do it, because it was the most obvious thing. But nobody was in the story meetings was saying, look, we've had 5 stories so far this season where all she does is nag him to wear a suit and
pick up his clothes and brush his teeth.
Yeah, and say nobody ever put a ration on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So need to reboot Powerpuff Girls. They tried. Again, reboot it again. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah. Now Lauren is going to be.
She's working on
DC.
New Teen Titans or something. New Teen Titans or something like that. Justice League.
Justice League, yes.
Yeah, they're redoing Justice League and they're putting Lauren in charge.
Yes.
Sweet.
It's gonna be sort of like Super BBFs. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Reboot of Land of the Giants. Or Land of the Lost. Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition at the greatest earthquake ever known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a reboot of HR Puff and stuff.
Oh, HR Puff and stuff. He's your friend when things get rough. HR puff and stuff. Can't do a little because you can't do enough.
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, he had the big bloated bloodshot pink eyes.
Yes.
Because Sid and Marty Krofft were wasted 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The Justice League could be good. Could be good.
If it's anything like what they did with the new Teen Titans, what little I've seen of it is utterly hilarious. When they had Weird Al Yankovic on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. DuckTales is getting rebooted. Yeah. What was that one? Let's go here. Roll. With a new Star Trek animated. Oh my God, that would hurt me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, the animation couldn't even be worse than the original. I should maybe bite my tongue on that. It's always it can't get any worse. Oh, you had to go say that. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. The banana splits.
Mm-hmm.
1 banana, 2 bananas, 3 banana, 4. Flipping like a pancake, popping like a cork. Fleagle, beagle, drooper, and snork. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's see. Let's see. We go. Trying to scroll back through here. Further down, further up. Popped up in his Toxic says, what's the oldest thing you guys personally own? Well, I'm going to assume you don't mean geologically.
Yeah.
Like antiques and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some books that are from like the 1920s.
Yeah, I've got a copy of With Indians in the Rockies. That's was a 1903 printing, and I've got a 1905 or about 1905 printing of Wizard of Oz.
But as far as like personal things that were a gift. Okay. Oldest time, longest in possession. Okay. For me, the longest thing I have in possession is a drawing board that my dad made for me when I was 5 years old, and I still have it in my studio, and I still use it on a routine basis for drawing. That'd be the oldest object I have that was made for me. I say, beyond that, I have some books from the 1920s and everything like that.
I have my original birth certificate.
Yeah, that's true. I found my birth certificate, so I have that typed out by some secretary at Presbyterian Hospital when I was born.
Yeah, and I have my dad's Navy uniform and sword, which he gave to me when I was 8. That was when he learned that he was not going to last very long. Let's see. A few photographs here and there. Like Polaroid type, things that are completely faded by now.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that ruler we framed for Dave.
Yeah, I remember the one.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a Swedish Mauser that was manufactured in 1898.
That's true. I have Swedish Mauser. But mine.
Yours is yours a Model 96 or a Model 38?
I'm sorry, no, both of mine are M38s. They're both M38s. Okay. I have one that is regular, and I have one that is got the marksman sharpshooter sights on it.
talks. It was never sharp, except at the point. It was an officer's sword.
Meant more for ceremonial display.
Yeah. I am told that when I was 3, we were still living in Kansas City at the time. That one night I had a nightmare. You know, and of course, I start hollering middle of the night. Dad bursts into the bedroom. And it's like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And it basically amounted to the boogeyman. So my dad, who was just wearing his robe, drew his Navy sword, went and got it, and went running down the street in the middle of the night, swinging his sword, going, "Take that, boogeyman, take that." Of course, nowadays, they'd lock you up for about like 40 years. But, I had a cool dad.
Yeah.
I told you how he dealt with the Hornets before. But he did that just to make damn sure that I understood that the boogeyman ain't going to get anywhere near me. Mm-mm.
It was a similar type of thing happened in my childhood. Didn't end quite as well for me and my dad. Of course, I was, growing up, my baby teeth started falling out, and I started getting my real teeth. And, of course, as a kid, take the tooth, put it underneath your pillow, and you wake up in the morning, woohoo, I got a quarter! And I don't know what got into my head, but I got this crazy idea that, the tooth fairy, must fly around with like this bag full of quarters, and maybe I could talk the tooth fairy into giving me more than just 25 cents, maybe giving out $1 or something like that, if I could get a chance to actually meet the tooth fairy and talk to them. So I decided that I was going to try and at least be woken up when the tooth fairy showed up, or maybe even capture the tooth fairy. Think big. So I went and I don't know why, because I should have figured that, tooth fairy's like Tinkerbell, she's got wings, and tooth fairy's going to fly into the room and do this thing. But I figured tooth fairy's going to walk in the room, so I'm going to set up a trap. So I strung fishing line back and forth in a zigzag pattern across my bedroom floor.
Oh, I did that once.
Before I went to bed. And then I was woken up in the middle of the night by an incredibly loud thud and some cussing. And I threw on the light, and there was my dad face first down on the floor. And there was a certain amount of, what? And he asked, "What is this?" And I started explaining it. And then it kind of dawned on me, it's like, "Oh, Dad, why are you in my room?" And my dad, being a quick thinker, said, "Oh, well, I heard a noise. And I came in to check." And he looked down, and we both kind of noticed the quarter on the floor. And he says, "Oh, darn, son, I think I scared the tooth fairy, but they left your quarter for you."
I'm going to get all the quarters.
Yeah.
They're going to give me some quarters tonight.
Yeah. And so that was my dad thinking very quickly on his feet, and then trying to explain to work next day why he had this big old fat nose. He landed right flat on his face. Have a bloody nose.
Don't you burglarize my house. My son going to be, inspiration for Home Alone.
Yes.
Let's see. The oldest thing I have that is functional that I actually used was my dad's EB6 computer. That is an EB6 is a pilot's. Basically, it's a form of slide rule, except it's one that you rotate instead of slide back and forth. And you can use it for calculating, if you're flying this fast, but this course and the wind is from this direction at this speed, how far into the wind do you need to crab in order to maintain a true course? And you have to know how to use one of those things to get your pilot's license. The old-fashioned mechanical types. They still ask you. Or at least they did when I got my license in 2004. They may let you use electronic ones now, but I have one of those. That was my dad's, and I used it when I took my my exam. For actually getting my wings. So a little bit of continuity there. Rosemary's hair is capable of disappearing as needed to fit under a hat or cap, because she gets hats of holding.
Yes. she and it goes when it comes back out again. Patina's goes too, but it's this little cute sound effect.
Oh yeah, Pink. Just private pilot. Cessnas, the occasional Piper. PA-24s and Cessna 172s.
Mm-hmm. Backbone of general aviation.
Yeah, well, it's been a little while. I need to go get my biannual flight review done and get current. Well, he got coined by a vet in the cafe. Cool. Yeah. Recognition coins. Look them up, folks.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most money I ever found walking somewhere? That would be when my manager in Kinko's went to make the night deposit and dropped the bag in the parking lot.
And didn't notice?
Well, okay, this was back in about 1985. There were no cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And Cliff had gone to make the deposit, and he was not the best manager in the world. And you're supposed to go straight to the bank, and he was just going to drop it off on his way into work the next morning.
Oh.
Well, he had dropped it in the parking lot, and I'd picked it up on my way out because I was a shift manager and I was closing up. I'm like, I'll just bring this in to Cliff tomorrow morning. And I came in, and Cliff was in an absolute panic. How much was in it? About $30,000 in cash. Largely in cash. I mean, cash and checks, but the cash part was almost $30,000 bucks. It was it was at the beginning of our what I call professor publication season.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just losing his mind. Like, Cliff, did you drop this last night? And he said, "Oh, thank God!" So he immediately took it straight down to the bank because at noon every day you'd have to call in with the deposit slip number, that kind of stuff. And he called in just in time, so I got me a steak dinner out of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's lucky because quite often, even at UA, we had to have the numbers in by 10 o'clock in the morning, or elsewise we started getting phone calls from Redwood City or my boner in Palo Alto saying, "Hey, where's the numbers? How's things going? Everything all right? We haven't seen numbers. No numbers have come over."
Yeah. I found a couple of wallets and stuff like that, and just knocking on the door, boom, 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 you drop this, because the address is right there. And boy, were they surprised that the cash was still in it.
Yep. The largest amount of money that I ever found, it was a case of, I can't trace this to anybody, it was about $250.
Well, by the way, that is just a side thing. That is the best compliment that you can offer there, Red.
But
turn on the stream so you can get some drive to draw.
Yep. Hope it's working for you.
Yeah. But
we're going to be wrapping things up around 9:30, but hopefully we can get you motivated here for you.
So that everybody can go watch you.
Yes.
Baron Cat's Paw. Have either of you ever been to the Safe and Lock Museum in Mountain View?
No, I've not. I want to go up and see it, though. It looks like a fascinating, esoteric way to spend an afternoon.
Trying to get snouts down from different angles. Yeah. Oh, yeah, doing the 3D rotations is not easy.
Yep.
Little bit of trivia or an opinion here. Of the characters in My Little Pony, the one that has the absolute worst profile is Cadence, in my opinion. However, she has the best 3/4 view, just the way they draw her. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I'd say sometimes Celestia can be. They took them a while to get good doing Celestia at 3/4. It took a while. It took them until season 3 before they really nailed it. Because I thought it was interesting going back and watching Lesson 0 and going, yeah, you really haven't done Celestia in 3/4, and wow, does it show?
Yeah.
But they got better.
Yep. So what's the food for tonight? Roast leg of lamb with mushrooms and roast potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're doing corn too.
Yep. And we're going to be doing sometime this weekend. We're doing baked potatoes as part of the Memorial Day menu because we have to use up a huge amount of chives that are growing in my backyard. And they're awesome looking chives.
Luna is still iffy on 3/4. I suspect it depends upon which library of stuff they're using, or which library of assets. Yeah, but I think that Cadence has the best 3/4 and the worst profile, and it's very similar to Chrysalis, who has a bad profile but a pretty good 3/4. Of course, Chrysalis is supposed to be kind of creepy to begin with, so I don't knock her down as many points. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the Pony movie looks like, because they've had to redo all of their assets for Toon Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking the chance to just do some subtle redesigns on the characters. So it'll be interesting to see how that works.
The one thing I am liking so far, at least from the stills, is I like how they've redone the Pegasus wings. They look much better. Of course, drawing bird wings has gotten to be kind of an obsession for me.
Oh, Bravo, you got the dime too! Yahoo! Yeah. This isn't like fine, but back when my first real job was working at an arcade, and the arcades they were owned by Sega, the game people, directly, but they ended up selling them off when the arcade boom sort of started to fade. And the guy that bought it bought the one in Stockton and the one in Lodi, where I lived in Lodi at the time. So basically, he just basically go run the one in Lodi. It's your store. And so I'm sitting there one evening, bored out of my mind, and this kid comes in. He's probably 9 or 10. Says, "I've got a silver dollar. Would you give me some tokens?" I said, "Okay," because at the time, remember, this is like 1981, 82. Silver dollars, the big ones, the Eisenhower dollars, were still very common. So it gives me a silver dollar, and I just give him some tokens. And then I look, yeah, it's a silver dollar, all right. It's a silver dollar. It's a Morgan dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Which were made in the late 1880s in great quantities. I mean, that was basically all the silver coming out of Nevada. They turned it into silver dollars before they shipped it out in the Carson City Mint, and then they stopped making them for a while, and then they made just an absolute butt ton of them. That's a scientific measurement. In 1921. Okay. So I sort of set it aside, fine. Next night he came in, he had a roll that was still in paper. And there's a particular type of paper wrap that the U.S. Mint does, with the ends all rolled over and all that. And he cracks it open, and there's 20 of them there. And he says, "I'd like $20 worth of tokens."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I take it and, and I have to account for it. So take a 20 out of my pocket, I put it in the drawer, take the 20 that I set it aside. I knew this kid's father because I had seen him come in before, and we had a membership program where you get a card, and then you get 2 free tokens every day. It's just to get you in. I had the address and phone number. So I looked it up, and I called up and said, "Are you a coin collector?" "Yeah." "Do you have a lot of silver dollars?" "Yeah." "Well, you've got fewer of them than you think you had. This is the arcade, would you come down to talk to me, because I think I've got some of your silver dollars." Mm-hmm. And Dad showed up, and because his kid had been ripping them off. And these were coins in good shape. These were collector quality coins. I mean,
each one was worth
And he busted open the roll.
Yeah.
it was of completely uncirculated, you know, 1921 Morgan silver dollars.
Yeah.
Even back then, it's like, I know this is worth a lot of money. Here's all your coins. Can I have my $20 back? Yeah, you know, and never saw that kid again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's probably buried in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah. That kind of hijinks will.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the guy was obviously just, you know, overjoyed to get these things back, but it never really. First of all, even back then, I was like 19 at the time. I knew what receiving stolen goods was, and it's just whatever these are worth, it ain't worth, you know, my ability to like look at myself in the morning. So, but yeah, the kid had been, you know, snitching stuff from his dad's coin collection, and you know, so I'd been plucking these things out, you know, for a couple of days there, and it was a total like 25 of them or something like that, and yeah, the. Yeah, I don't know where else the kid had been spending them, but I could at least get this guy's coins back that,
yeah,
you know.
Yep. Sometimes you do things not because there's going to be a reward for you, just because it is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Caspar, I'm not sure how much. I mean, it's, again, coins that are still in the rolls, you know, they do tend to carry a premium, but not too much, because a lot of people they break them up and they sell them individually. If they're still in the roll, you got to sell them 20 at a time. You know, bulk rate. The thing is that, you know, again, they had never been handled, and then the only time they've been handled was when the kid took them out and handed them to me. So they, and so they hadn't been like in somebody's pocket getting scraped by keys or anything like that. And again, they went straight back to the collector. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Commando, the great wisdom of the universe comes from a movie called Buckaroo Banzai. Character is what you are in the dark. Yeah.
Yo-Yo-Dine, an excited growing company.
Yep, John Lithgow. Not John Lithgow, it was John Lithgow.
Just a wonderful speech.
Yeah. Cat's paw, yes, because that describes condition, not provenance. You know, in modern parlance, these would be uncirculated 65s. There are uncirculated 70s, and those basically go. You know, those are basically, you know, proof coins that go straight from the mint to collectors. But yeah, well, again, the kid was like, you know, 8, 9 years old and thought he was getting away with some shit.
Yep. Learned a valuable lesson.
Oh yeah. You know, like I said, you know, assuming that he was able to claw his way out of the shallow grave. Yeah. Cold could have been again. Morgan dollars are not. They don't carry, depending upon which year, they don't carry a huge premium above the silver value. Nowadays, you can get, you know, like 1921, you know, Morgan silver dollars, you know, in sort of worn condition for $20. But these were, again, uncirculated, and again, I don't know what it was like back in 1983, 82, but that roll was probably worth at least $500,000. So yeah, it would be toying with that. Yeah.
Put a purse on. She doesn't have a purse. Give her a purse. She needs a purse.
Yeah.
Put a big purse. Put a purse.
I think something like 600 million Morgan dollars were made. So
yeah, that probably was a good portion of all silver out in Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, actually, these days, a lot of people use Morgan dollars. At poker tournaments, you're allowed to have a, you know, a marker, you know, that say can only be, you know, so big. You know, it can be no bigger than a poker chip. That you use as a good luck charm, and you can put them on top of your cards to indicate that, you know, you haven't folded them, and, you know, that kind of thing. And a lot of people use Morgan silver dollars, or if you're really rich, they use a $20 gold piece.
Uh-huh.
The double eagles. Gold silver, it varies depending on when. It may have been 500 back then. Who knows? In any event, they say the biggest thing it wasn't the state that was going to punish this kid.
No.
No.
And the fact, the kid, you don't realize how much good faith you just burned.
All of it.
Yeah.
So Tox is curious about what our dream vacation place is.
Well, that would depend on the time of year. Because I have to. One of the things I really have got kind of inkling to want to do before I die. Bucket list of things I'd like to do is I'd like to see New England in the fall.
Yeah.
I would love to see New England in the fall. I think it'd be kind of cool to actually be back in Massachusetts during Halloween and everything. They're kind of like where all of our American ideas and mythos about is. I'd love to be able to go to Europe. I'd love to be able to go to Italy and see some of the places I had to write papers about in my art history classes. Like to be able to go to Japan.
Yeah. If you're talking about places, there's a difference between, I think, a vacation where a place where you've been and a place that you haven't been because you don't know. But for places that I've been, for cheap vacations, South Lake Tahoe. I like Las Vegas. Yes, it's tacky, but for a cheesy vacation, I'm fine with Las Vegas. Pacific Northwest. East Coast. There's parts of Appalachia, say in upstate New York, and like the Catskills, and like that I'd like to see. I have never been to the Grand Canyon, at least not on the surface. I've overflown it, but I'd like to go there. And because Pacific Northwest is just gorgeous.
Oh yes, it is. It's stunning, and I wouldn't mind getting up to Whidbey Island and some of the other smaller communities along the coast. One place, it's not so much a place, but it's an event that I would love to go to. Is I'd like to go to Oshkosh.
That would be a blast. For 2 weeks in late fall, Oshkosh is the busiest airport in the world. That's where all of the people who build their own aircraft take their planes for a big get together. And I was working on one for a while, then I sort of ran out of gas. But as far as places that I haven't been, I would love to go to Africa. Particularly the Great Rift Valley, but it's politically is way too unstable, so that ain't going to happen.
Well, the same way I'd love to go to Egypt.
Yeah, and again, it's like the other tourists are being targeted. That ain't going to happen anytime soon. I would love to visit Mesopotamia, see where it all started. That ain't going to happen. I've been to Europe. I've been to an island off the coast of Europe. I've been to England, and I may have an opportunity to fly out to Cyprus, of all places, on somebody else's dime soon. More on that if it actually happens.
Yes, that can be very interesting if that ends up being a thing.
Yeah. I would love to visit the Andes Mountains. I'm a geology freak.
Someplace with AC.
Yeah. And I would like to drive the Alaskan Highway through Canada one of these days, and visit some of the really far north stuff like Yellowknife, Dawson, that type of stuff. That would be fun. I would love to visit Alaska. That one's actually achievable. I would love to visit Russia.
Yeah.
But again,
now
not until things settle down a bit.
Yeah. Now, one of the ones that Smudge would like to do, and it has to be kind of interesting, is she's got an inkling to want to do one of the Mississippi riverboat cruises.
That would be fun.
Especially the ones where they do the historical stops and everything like that along the way. That'd be kind of entertaining to do. We thought about that as a possibility.
Yeah. Australia, definitely. I would love to take a couple of months, and just wander around Australia, and that might happen.
Mm.
Remember, I worked for an Australian company.
True. This is true. DDEX.
Yeah, and we, I say we have our periodic, quarterly business reviews and stuff. We're headquartered now in Silicon Valley. We moved, the company moved to Silicon Valley, decided they were going to go big or go home. But we still have a big office in Australia, which is, again, that's how we get all the Australian stuff. We still have our business reviews there. One of these days, I'm going to say, look, we'll see if we can, have the QBR in, in Adelaide, which is where our Australian office is, and then just like I got some vacation coming. Yeah, I think I'll skip ice road driving. I read up on that. I'll skip that. Would I like to walk to the top of Uluru sometime? Yes, I would. I do not know what the Aboriginal population there thinks about white people walking on top of their holy mountain. If they're generally cool with it, I'd do it. If they're not, I wouldn't. I'll just stand back and take pictures. I think it's the Olgas, I think is the name of the rock formation that Ayers Rock or Uluru is part of. So I'd love to, because again, I'm a geology freak. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, Dutch Harbor. I would like to fly there.
Dutch Harbor.
Alaska.
Okay.
It's in the Aleutian Islands.
Ah. Is that one of the ones that has one of the crazy runways? The one where...
There's several there that do.
The one where basically it ends at the cliff face?
Well, that would be, say the airport right outside of Mount Everest in Nepal.
Yeah,
literally, you
one
land uphill, you have a 1,000-foot roll, then there's a cliff that you run into.
Yeah. But there's one up in the Aleutians. It's like that, where it's like you go in, you commit, and you're in, and no, don't go around because you'll go like a bug on the windshield.
Yeah. How much time off of the year do I usually get? I get a couple of days off every now and then, but no big vacations. We've gone to this fad thing as between you and your manager. You work out how much vacation you, because they don't want to get vacation accumulation on the books. So not enough. But although my manager's a pretty cool guy, if I get the opportunity to go, I just might say, look, damn it. No, I've been here, 2.5 years. I have never had a vacation longer than 3 days. You guys are always going on vacation. I'm out of here. I will see you in 6 weeks. Keep paying me. So, what I do is kind of hard to replace.
Yep. That's kind of like how I mean.
Oh, that's right. Sponsor plug time.
You
gotta sneak it in.
Towards the very end.
You got it. Thanks for catching that.
I mean, that was actually one of the things, that when I was working at UA, sometimes it got tricky to get time off because, I was needed for so many things at University Art.
Yeah, actually, we've had the University Art logo on the whole time.
Yeah.
All right, fine. University Art. Let me tell you about University Art. High-end art supply store, high-end framing, museum quality work they do. I won't have my framing done anywhere else.
And there's a little plug. Next weekend, June 3rd, I will be demoing at University Art at the Sanford booth. Sanford is people who make Prismacolor pencils, the color pencils that I prefer to work with, and I'm going to be demonstrating my technique there. So if you happen to be in the South Bay and you can make it over, drop on by.
Yeah, so make sure to bring your banners. Best pencil technique ever. You put on that gamma. Okay. You'll understand in a couple of weeks.
Yes. But why don't we flip the camera, because it's 9:28. We're basically done on this guy.
So again, just last little thanks to University of Art for sponsoring Baron and making all of this possible.
Yes.
Well, actually, it was possible before, but it makes it more possible.
It makes it more possible, yes.
All right. Okay, folks. Well, it's been another great show.
Yes, it has, and I want to thank you all for. Yeah,
There you go.
it worked out.
Yeah.
I hope
I'm like this far away, and I see it through. I haven't gone all the way up to Montreal and back.
But yes, I want to
go right ahead, Prava.
Yes, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. I want to thank. Like I say, this is the 2-year anniversary. 2 years ago, basically this weekend, I was able to leave my job at University Art, and I was able to pursue a dream. Basically a dream that I almost thought wasn't going to happen. But one of the things that did make it happen was the support I get through Patreon. So all of you folks who basically, give me $1 a month, give me $5 a month, give me $50 a month, whatever your amount you give me, thank you. Thank you very much. I could not have done this without your support. If you happen to be going, hey, I'd love to be able to, do a pledge every month, but I'm a little bit tight. If you look down in the bottom corner there, you're going to see a thing called Stream Tip.
Yep.
And if you just felt like you enjoyed this tonight and you feel like, hey, I really had a great time, throw a $1 or $2 in the jar. It all goes towards it. I mean, I say, this is my day job. I don't have any other job. I don't wake up and go to work in an office.
He only has to work half-time, and he gets to pick which 12 hours a day he does it too.
That's right. I mean, technically, I'll be working this Memorial Day weekend, but at least I'll take a little bit easy tomorrow. Take a little time off.
It's downstairs, Tox.
Yeah. So, I want to thank you guys all for showing up, and we'll be doing this again in 2 weeks. And I may be also be doing a digital one. I'm getting more comfortable with my digital. I feel like if I'm on camera, I'm not going to be embarrassing myself or boring people to death while going, what the hell is he doing? No, you just lost it.
Yeah.
You lost the lair again.
Yep, Hyphen understands it.
Yeah.
Where's the cake? Celestia ate
it. Yes.
Yeah. Let me eat cake.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We will see you 2 weeks.
You're great. Good night.